right, everybody. Welcome to episode number 29 of the Dragon's Den podcast. This is a celebration tonight of the new, and I always wanted to say this, and once again, new President of the United States. And that is, of course, number 47. Donald Trump has been reelected to the office of presidency here in the United States. So welcome, everybody. My name is Eric Hopkins, a.k.a. Joe. We've also got Sir Spoobies the third. We got Miranda, Nicole, and Matthew down there in the bottom right. And we're going to have a good time. Hopefully, Aaron will be here tonight as well. So how's everybody doing? Great week. If I do say so myself.
Yeah, fantastic week.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kathy, for the compliment there with the intro. So yes, we had to have a good time for sure. But yeah, like I said, it's a giant victory. But the war is not over. This is a great time. We all need to be celebrating. We're going to gloat a little bit, so if you don't like that, I'm sorry. But at the same time, we don't know what to tell you here. We're going to tell you, we're going to tell you why we're going to gloat and all that sort of stuff too. But definitely a major victory. But the fight has just begun. I don't know about you. Obviously, you can tell I got a cigar. I probably smoked this is probably the third one in my life. I've never really smoked a lot of cigars for special occasions only.
At my wedding.
At your wedding, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might still have that cigar. Actually, I don't know if I ever did smoke it.
No, I smoked that one.
Did you smoke it? But obviously, I smoked when a buddy of mine's wife got pregnant, so we celebrated that, and there might have been one other time in there as well. But so yeah, and I've also got my Corona here. We're going to drink a little Corona, because it's all about the family with the Fast and Furious. Gotta have that Corona. But I've also got that, and I'm going to be chasing that down. With some, if the phone don't go crazy on this thing, holy.
The Corona.
Yeah, they just, but anyway, I'll be chasing that down with my liberal tears. So if you all don't like that, I'm sorry about you. But we're going to have a good time tonight, and we're going to be talking about the news and the world of politics and all that good stuff. So how's everybody doing?
I'm good.
I'm relieved.
Yeah, me too.
The election's over. Well, for most of us.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Unless you're in Arizona.
Yeah, or there may be a few like in Nevada, I think, things like that.
Yeah.
Who cares? Okay.
Florida's offering to teach them how to do it.
It's about time.
Oh, yeah, they should. They had that thing done within an hour, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they just had a major hurricane come through. So what's y'all's excuse? I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
But yes, this is, of course.
I had heard Elon had made some sort of app or algorithm that was able to tell.
Be able to tell what? You still there?
Sorry, my computer just spazzed out a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Elon had some kind of algorithm that knew like 4 hours ahead of or after the election ended that Trump won. He was like, he told, or Joe Rogan was talking about it on his podcast. I don't know. He's smartest man alive, but whatever.
Yeah, just nothing but a thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
I said that's scary to think about, boy.
Yeah, I'm glad he's on our side.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Love Elon. We got a lot to talk about tonight, so I guess without further ado, I guess we can just get on into it. It's going to be completely political tonight for obvious reasons. We'll get back into the movie news and stuff like that next week if you're into that stuff more. What did actually go on this week in the world of movies and football and stuff, I got at the bottom of the screen, so you can check that out there. But we'll get into more of that next week if more things actually pop up. Not a whole lot in that realm this week anyway. But in the world of politics, lots of stuff has gone on just since the election on Tuesday. So we've got a lot of stuff to talk about there.
Before you get any further, where's Michael?
Well, he's not the politics guy for sure.
I thought he was going to be on.
I thought he was too. Well, he had mentioned to me that he was cool if we wanted to start the show and obviously to celebrate the victory and everything like that. But he was under the impression we'd have other topics too. So I don't know if he's going to be.
Well, I'm glad we didn't dress up for him.
Yeah, no kidding. He wanted Brandon to dress up as Uncle Sam and Miranda as Statue of Liberty. But so I mean, he may be tuning in just for a little bit. I'm not sure, but
I like the big red X with the circle on her.
Oh yeah, on top of that, for sure. She gone.
She gone out.
She got yeeted.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that. Hey, Mike is in here. He said, "Hey guys, just jumping in for a bit."
Ah.
So, hey, good to see you. But I'm glad you at least
Good to see you, Mike.
for a quick minute. Sorry, the attire did not live up to your expectations.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
bad.
sorry, man.
Where am I
Short
gonna
notice.
find that
We'll hit the
this
movies
time?
next time.
Exactly. Kathy said
I
she's
thought
got
about
her
getting
Bud Light.
tinfoil, but you know,
Yeah, there you go. Kathy's got her
Paul
Bud
Mall.
I
Light
didn't want to
and
play
Pall
into the
Mall.
She
conspiracy
said
anymore,
Pall
though.
Mall. Kathy,
In the
who
Pall
the hell
Mall.
smokes Pall Malls?
What
I
the
drink.
Pall Mall?
I normally would have taken like Bud Light as my drink of choice. However, there's a little controversy with Bud Light. It's still kind of. I
Mhm.
kind of gave up on that for a long time. But
Yeah,
not
Bud
judging
Light
them.
sucks.
no,
Okay.
not judging.
Proceed.
But
You don't
yeah,
even
absolutely.
drink like that, Matt.
Yeah.
I don't care. I still have my opinion.
All right. So
Man up.
I'm gonna bookmark this show tonight with this phrase.
Okay.
This time it just feels different. It isn't your ordinary presidency. So
Mhm.
obviously, in the words of the guys whose glasses I'm wearing, Tony Stark, the genius billionaire playboy philanthropist, and I'm going to add this part, WWE Hall of Famer is back in the White House. So yes, the 47th president-elect Donald Trump obviously won 312 electoral college votes to 226. This wasn't close. It wasn't
Okay.
close from the jump.
No.
Not
Ever.
even, not ever. So yeah, but first and foremost, as we should always do in all walks of life, in my opinion, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things will be added to you. Matthew 6:33. And
Yes, sir.
that is, of course, what the Trump campaign did
love
following the
this.
victory. They were literally worshiping the Lord in the war room. So I don't know. I don't care what walk of life you're from. That right there is the right side of history, if you ask me.
Okay.
You guys were able to hear that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we heard
Yeah.
every bit of
Okay, I
it.
just want to make sure it was working.
I wanted to
Okay.
make sure. I wanted to make sure all the liberals that watch this show heard it too.
For sure. Kathy says, whoop, whoop. So, yeah, she's on board with the celebration for sure. Mike says, I have to give Brennan a big buddy hug. Happy your man won. Sorry about your current fantasy football situation, though. Damn, that sucks.
Let's move on.
You had to put that one in there. Well, we have to at least explain the context. He is
Good
down
luck getting
what,
that last
like
place up
112
there,
to
loser.
nothing
Can
after
you
Joe
shut
Burrow
the
and
fuck up, dude?
Jamar Chase smoked
Yeah.
him.
I
Yeah,
that score and
Chris
almost
needs-
threw up in my mouth.
Listen, he made me apologize to Chris when I beat him that bad.
Chris owes you an apology. I told
Yes,
him
Yes,
so
he
too.
does.
He did. He put it in the group. It's in the fantasy chat.
Yeah.
How about them, Jamar Chase?
I looked at
That
that. I
was
said, "How the fuck y'all
nuts.
get 50 points apiece? What are we
I mean,
doing?"
How does it feel to just be completely destroyed on Thursday night before you even get to Sunday?
I
It
don't
sucks.
know.
There's nothing you can do.
I have never experienced this, but I know, like, in some weird way, this is karma for me laughing at it when it happened to Chris, and the fact that it's Chris doing it to me is just
Karma. Yeah.
I didn't even do it to you. Miranda did it. It should have happened when y'all played. How the hell am I getting by proxy beat? That's wild.
Yeah, I looked at Chris's score and I was like, "Oh, poor Brandon."
I looked at that score and I literally, I was sitting on the edge of the bed. I looked at it because I didn't look. I haven't looked since, so I looked at it and I seen it. Miranda's standing right there and I went, "What the fuck?"
True story.
Yeah. Well, this next
Okay.
video, Miranda actually posted. Do you want to explain a little bit about this at all? I mean, I just like what he said, so I thought we'd play it.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I posted it. So I
Okay,
don't
well,
even remember.
let's all watch it together, and maybe she'll talk a little bit about it after
Yep.
that. So here we go.
Oh,
Hi,
the
guys.
farmers. Yes.
I'm very tired, but I can't hide my excitement. What I'm going to say will blow your mind. So listen up and please share this. We have no idea what is happening right now. Joel Salatin was asked by the Trump transition team to become an advisor for the USDA. What does that mean? Joel Salatin is a well-known organic regenerative farmer. Organic regenerative farming is how it's supposed to be done. It keeps the soil healthy. It produces rich, nutrient-dense crops. It is what makes people strong. It is what builds our immune system. It is how God has intended agriculture to be. It is diametrically 100% the exact opposite of agriculture right now, where everything is done in a destructive, diabolical, toxic way that results in crops without nutrients that make people sick. What is going on here, people, listen to me, is a shift from everything diabolical, everything toxic, everything criminal, everything makes people unhealthy, sick, weak, poor. All that has been installed by the satanic elites the past century. They've poisoned healthcare, poisoned education. They've poisoned our finances. I mean, they've stolen the finances through the IRS. They've poisoned the whole medical industry, agriculture, the news, information, everything. And what we are seeing now is the early stages of an incredible historic transformation where all that will come to an end. The vaccines will be gone. Income tax will be gone. The lying media will ultimately be gone. Everything is coming to an end. The empire of Satan, the empire of the demons, the empire of everything that was built to suppress, to kill, to impoverish, to enslave humanity, all that will be taken down and will be replaced by divine alternatives that empower, that heal, that make us abundant in everything that's good. Nature will be restored. The people will be restored. Heaven is going to manifest itself on the earth instead of hell. We don't understand what's happening here. We don't understand what's going on with RFK, with Elon Musk, with Trump. They're imperfect people. They make mistakes. They say crazy things sometimes. But the overall picture is an indescribable historic shift from intense evil, undescribable darkness that has been unleashed onto the human race for over a century. That is coming to an end, and we're shifting into a new era where the good people are taking the place of the bad people. And we are going to see healing, restoration, deliverance in ways that many of us cannot even comprehend. We are in for an incredibly beautiful future.
I cannot wait.
Yep.
I mean,
That sounds fun to me.
if all that is true, and it's starting to look up, and we're going to get into some of the things that are already happening, and he's not even taken office yet, for sure. So hang in there. We're going to get into a lot of stuff here tonight as well. Mike also sent in another chat, which is interesting. I didn't pull up the story, but I'll talk about it here. He sent me a link where Joy Reid from MSNBC, which obviously we've talked about her many times. She's a complete liberal nut job on that network. She literally flat out said today, I think it was today, it's all the fault of old WWE fans that like Hulk Hogan and watched WWE all those years with Donald Trump, the reason why Donald Trump won. It's like, I took that as a compliment as a WWE fan. So for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just because they like to look down. They think people who like pro wrestling are less than. Of course, they think all of us are less than, those liberal elites for sure. But yeah, I read that. I'm like, I'm not surprised in the slightest that somebody like Joy Reid would get something to that effect.
Eric
So,
and Miranda.
I don't know about you, but keep on attacking voters. That seems to be working out for you. It's a
Yeah.
good strategy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I bought this.
What is it?
Oh,
Okay.
like Time Magazine or something?
It's a Time.
Oh.
It's a Time magazine that was done the week after he was shot.
Yeah, well, good one to
And
get. Yeah.
attempted suicide, and I wanted to get it, and I'm
Assassination.
the assassination attempt.
Yeah.
I kept this to remind other people and remind myself that God does everything for a reason. And I think Trump is here on this earth for more reasons than being president. I think that he's here to save our country. He's here to save our future. I love the staff that he's put together already. I think Elon and RFK, and I think Elon Musk is the future. I had a conversation with Logan about this, my friend at work.
Really? I'm surprised he would talk about anything like that.
No, he did. He actually talked about it with me, and I said I told him I said I think Elon's renewable energy and the fact now this is to a degree that is the future. If you want to do Space Force and you want to do stuff like that, that is the beginning of moving into that time period.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think Trump saw that way before other people did.
Yep.
And I think he saw things in Elon that maybe Elon himself didn't see in Trump, or vice versa.
Just to double down on the last video, Elon and JD were talking backstage at a rally after the Starlink deployment for the hurricane victims. He had to do so much stupid shit to get clearance to land there to even deliver that stuff. The regulations and this and that they put on him is just stupid.
Yeah.
Once he is free of that stuff, I can't imagine what he'll do.
Sky's the limit, literally.
Yeah.
SpaceX is the future.
Yeah.
It is the future. It's how we get to Mars. It's how we go it's how humanity progresses along the track that it's gone on. Eric, you even opened the show saying this is what did you say?
Not your ordinary presidency.
Not your ordinary presidency. And
this wasn't just another 4-year election.
No.
This is about
this election.
It's about the next 250 years.
It pushes beyond now, because not only did he win. I mean, I'm going to be frank about you. This was an ass whipping.
Yeah, we're going to do that in a second too.
I mean, it was not like, oh, this is close.
Wasn't even close at all.
No, these people spoke.
Yeah. Mike said, I haven't smoked in years and have been sober for over 13 years. Congratulations.
Good
so
for
please
you,
have a smoke and a drink for me, guys. And believe me, this is very rare for me. I don't drink. I don't smoke much at all. But this situation called for it, I thought, in my opinion.
Yes.
Because like we're talking about here, it's more than just a normal presidency here. There's actually an opportunity here with the way all things shook out that we can get legitimately drastic change, hopefully permanently in this country. So we're going to find out here. But we're going to talk more about that in detail here. Let's get started on it. Obviously, the Electoral College went 312 to 226 for Donald Trump. And like I said, this is a landslide, complete landslide, in my opinion. And it's hard to argue. I mean, you can't argue against it. Even Democrats are saying they got shellacked. No doubt.
And even I bet he won California too if they audited it. The amount of red compared from this year to last is just astronomical.
I wanted New York and California to be counted.
Well, again, until they enact these voter ID laws that we've talked about for weeks now. Notice all the gray on the right is all the states that Kamala Harris won. They're the ones who don't require voter ID. If Donald Trump can somehow get voter ID nationwide, California and Florida and New York may definitely go red. Like Miranda said many times. If it's a free and fair election, I don't think Democrats have a chance.
I almost until we know that it's accurate, I almost don't feel right celebrating it because we overwhelmed the vote. If we don't fix it in 4 years, they can take it back.
Yeah. That's why the next 4 years are critical. Which
I'm celebrating.
And that's why, we voted this year. We got to keep voting. Yep. We've got to keep talking about it. And
Kathy also wrote, he can provide electricity beyond Elon. Yeah, maybe he'll be the first one to put electricity on Mars for sure. Or hell, even,
Elon, some of the ideas he has to do to certain shit he wants to do. We were joking about the whole fucking robot thing. You remember where we had that meme of the robot standing over the guy saying, holding a pillow because he asked him to play Creed for the 100th time or something like that. We were joking about that, but it could be a real possibility that you could have these robots in your house, the smart homes.
Brandon, iRobot.
A damn vacuum.
Yeah.
You already got them.
iRobot.
Yeah, and they looked eerily similar to iRobot too, by the way.
Yeah.
Minus the whole
the taxi, or what was it? The shuttle he had.
Yeah,
whatever it was. That looked exactly like from. I'm like, I think he watched that movie and literally designed it all about it. But yeah, I mean, they look great if they, are not,
minus the homicidal.
Yeah, hopefully there's no Skynet or anything like that. Starlink.
But I
scares me.
just feel like Elon
it's a little
is the
creepy.
future.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see. But
Some
yeah,
of
what
the ideas are just.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing. I want to have people who are innovative with their ideas and not just settling for what we currently have. That's how we used to be. Why can't we go back to that? You get rid of this regulation.
Keep moving forward.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you progress the future.
It's my statement.
And not to toot my own horn and our own horn on here on the channel. This is the prediction map that we put up here on the podcast a few weeks ago, and we conservatively gave Kamala Harris Nevada just to be safe. But we even said during that podcast, Trump may take Nevada as well. And if he takes Nevada on this map, we got the map 100% correct. So,
and we're good.
We know a little bit about what we're talking about. We're not conspiracy theorists, nincompoops. Okay.
I might be a nincompoop, but okay.
No cap.
Well, I've been bitching about how bad the damn food is for years. Ask Brandon how many vitamins I make him take a day.
Yeah,
I've been taking more of those myself. Yeah.
It honestly feels like the older you get, the more you have to.
Yeah, you do.
Listen to me when I tell you this. Again, me and Miranda, well, I've kind of, I guess, overwhelmed Miranda in this aspect of watching this shit with me. Because normally, this is what I watch, but like, she gets enthralled by it as well. When I tell you, our country puts shit in food that should not be there, that other countries literally outlaw. There are.
Yeah.
You ever see an old Asian person that doesn't live in the States? That's not from. That doesn't live here. They're active as shit over there. You know what I mean? Like, it blows my. There's this huge fish market in Japan, right? The amount of old guys in there just hooking and shucking big ass fucking tunas off a boat into it. You know what I mean? You wouldn't find it here. And because when they live off the land, that's what they do. It's actually off the land. There's no other. They don't put other shit in their food. Dude, they're 7-Elevens that are with like legitimately home cooked meals. Blows my fucking mind.
Yeah. I mean, it's like everybody wants to say, oh, well, Vladimir Putin is horrible to his people in Russia. Have you ever seen a fat Russian?
Yeah.
Like
outside of a movie.
Yeah, I mean, like war movies or something. You see, like, the guy on the post or whatever is like, Argh. But no, I mean, they're usually in healthy shape, and hopefully, guys like RFK and this current upcoming administration will actually be able to help with that. Mike said, not to change topics on you, but I got to ask Brandon this. What sucks worse, being down like you are now, so quick to Chris in fantasy football, or losing to Matt in fantasy football?
Hey, Mike, it's been fun talking to you, big dog.
That's why he keeps asking.
He did lose to me this year.
Hey, Matt, shut the fuck up. Like, what are you doing?
We got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just now got it. Never mind.
Yeah. Actually, I think Matt beat me too. So
I did.
Yeah. Damn it.
And I'm still in last place.
I know for a fact I lost. You know what I mean? There's no coming back.
Didn't I lose to you too?
No. Matt's only
one. No, I beat him.
Hey, Miranda's been kicking everybody.
Yeah. No, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
It's like, I know I'm not coming back. It's 150. he got.
Oh
what
yeah,
I
because you were
consider a
talking shit at
slip
work,
up.
and Brady told me about it. I remember now.
Yeah, and then I
You know what I mean?
quit
Yeah.
talking
Like,
shit about Thursday.
What am I supposed to
afternoon.
do with this information? Like, how the fuck I know I lost on a Thursday night game that they lost, by the way, to two people that.
after my tight end did nothing. Anyways, back to politics.
Yeah. Anyway, like, Mike, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Throwing off the groove. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
You're good, buddy.
Kamala Harris bad.
I didn't.
Well,
even
while
think
we're
about
on the
that shit.
while we're on football, real quick,
Yeah.
Antonio Brown is now invited to Mar-a-Lago.
Okay, cool.
I'm kind of
Who-
jealous.
Listen,
Who the
listen,
funk?
Listen, hold on. I just want to
Yeah.
say this.
Antonio Brown, as crazy as he is,
Mhm.
he's on the right track, in my opinion. So,
Yeah,
I just want to
Yeah.
say
I want to
this.
know if he figured out something about himself, or
Or
if
maybe he just wised
jackrabbit.
up.
Yeah.
Maybe.
maybe.
I want to say
He's
this
like
though.
that.
Ensuring.
Make sure
Le'Veon
Trump's
Bell even
daughters,
was.
Trump's daughters and wife
Mm.
are nowhere around Antonio alone. Like, I seen those videos that he put out. Like, y'all see what he did to Tom Brady's wife? It was absurd. So
No, I did not. What did he do?
he got real close. He was like, man, it was a crazy video. Like, I'm just
Oh,
saying.
I did
Better
want
hide
to point.
your-
I did want to point out some stuff about this election. What makes it actually absolutely outstanding for Republicans and the Trump campaign. Obviously, one of the things was obviously Donald Trump won all 7 swing states, which is insane. But also, interestingly enough, when Joe Biden won, he won obviously many counties throughout the nation. Kamala Harris did not beat Joe Biden in any county in the entire country.
So you asked, are there any places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020? So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming in 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Literally nothing?
Literally nothing.
Literally not one county?
So you asked.
So yeah. So the Democrats who thought that Kamala would be the far better candidate clearly was not. So yeah. Mike also said, Brandon, you know you'll always be my favorite big hunk of chocolatey goodness. So
Okay, I'm done talking to you.
But you know what, Brandon and Miranda
What?
and Eric.
yeah, we're all here.
Yep.
They're
Roll
all
call.
there. I'm not sure that Joe wins this.
No, he wouldn't have won it either.
No, Joe wouldn't have won it either.
He's going to act
No.
like he would have, because why wouldn't you? But no, he'd have got
I-
smoked too.
No,
Even
like-
if Kamala ran and they would have never replaced Joe, I still think Trump would have won this.
And here's the thing. I don't
Trump
think.
won 2020, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is basic.
I haven't got into that yet.
Yeah,
Miranda.
I'm about
going there.
to. So
Hold your boat.
yeah, but before we get to that, with all of that, we also, the Republicans, this was a clean sweep. This was a red wave, not the mirage that they were predicting. And on top of that, that means Republicans, who obviously already had the majority in the Supreme Court, SCOTUS, they had the majority 6-3 in the court. But with that advantage, we also have Clarence Thomas, who's 76 years old, Samuel Alito, 74 years old. They will both likely retire during Trump's second term. And John Roberts, who is 69, may retire. Trump will likely appoint 2 to 3 more replacements during his term. He already put in 3 judges in his last term. So Trump himself will then have put 5 to 6 judges himself on the Supreme Court in his 2 terms if this does happen. This is huge for the Republican majority on the Supreme Court. This is one of the reasons that Democrats and liberals are losing their effing minds right now,
Brother.
because this is where the buck stops, right here. It's supposed to be, anyway. Let's try to get
Yep.
around it, like Joe did. But somehow, though, if J.D. Vance becomes president in the 4 years after Donald Trump, even more justices could be replaced by conservatives. So
Hold on. I'm not going to lie to you. I would vote for JD. Just because
I would
like,
too.
JD
I
won
would
me
vote for
over
JD Vance.
because
Sure would.
swag, the added, like, the
he puts media in their place, for one.
one man
Sure
called out
would vote for JD Vance.
so many fucking of these. Yeah, you're right. He called out so many of these media personalities, like, to their face. But he doesn't give you, like I said, that politician talk, that boss speak. That
It's not
you know,
smug either.
He
It's
doesn't
like,
give you the bullshit, Brandon.
No, it's confidence.
Yes.
and he just lays out the facts, and
Yeah.
they have no rebuttal. And that's why I love
Yep.
it, because these people need to be held accountable.
So
Also,
I'll say that to say I'd vote for him.
Oh, absolutely. Also, liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who is 70, may also retire. So the conservative majority may actually expand to 7-2. I mean, and God forbid something worse happens. I mean, some of these people could potentially die. Let's hope that don't happen. That's happened to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but she could have retired, under what was it, Obama before Trump came in too. Liberals got all mad about that. But Trump did his duty and he just filled the seats. He didn't pack the court like a lot of you liberals like to say. He just filled his seats and did his duty. So you liberals who are upset want to pack the court and make this like, 12 justices, 13 justices, or whatever it is, so that you guys can actually get the leg up. That's not the way this works. I hate to say it. I don't know what Kathy means by this. I trank transparency.
Okay, cool.
I want to slow down on the Pall Mall there. Or the
Pall Malls are cigarettes.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Jesus.
I don't smoke. I don't know. Slow down on the Bud Light. No, just kidding.
What?
When you said something,
I think she meant to say I like transparency. I think that's yeah. So sorry. Anyway.
Yeah, they were talking about the amount of classified documents this country has, and it's just not cool.
There's a lot of eyes that are about to be opened if Donald Trump gets his way and declassifies all this stuff, which is what he's going to do. But we'll see what happens.
Oh, here we go.
That should be an exciting day.
So we've also got Senate and the House of Representatives.
Man.
The Senate, the Republicans gained 4 seats, so they now have taken the majority. So the Senate now belongs to the Republicans.
Yeah,
we've also but there's a few Senate races still ongoing all these days later, which is ridiculous, by the way.
Okay, okay.
The one I want to focus on here is in Arizona. Carrie Lake, who is as of right now with 81% reporting, is down by a little over 1% of the vote by about about 33,000 votes at this point, and that gap is closing. By the way, it's gradually gotten a shorter distance. But for whatever reason, can someone answer me why Carrie Lake in a Senate race has 1.348 million votes, but Kamala Harris in Arizona only had 1.306? How does a presidential candidate have less votes than a Senate candidate? Not saying there might be a valid reason, but to me, that makes me scratch my chin a little bit. Like, who votes for just the Senate and doesn't vote for the presidency at the top of the ticket? So that's just a little weird for me, if you ask me.
The answer is
for other things too. Like maybe they chose a different candidate in that.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, there's libertarians, right?
Yeah, there was.
There are some on the ticket. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well then there's your answer.
Yeah, but usually a Trump voter is going to vote for Carrie Lake.
Yeah, that's also true. So.
Yeah.
I mean, she is America first as they come.
Quick side note: Mike said WWE note a WWE Women's United States title was officially unveiled on SmackDown.
Okay, cool.
How do you feel about that, Mike? Well, either one, I guess. But Mike's always been one of there's too many titles on all these shows. There's one more.
We need more.
I guess it's a secondary title that the women could use, but at the same time, they got 2 women's world titles. They don't really. I don't know if we need more, but I don't know. We'll see. When it comes to the House of Representatives, though, again, some more, elections still ongoing.
Why is Arizona ongoing?
Because Arizona and Maricopa County they're a problem.
Yeah,
they've been like that.
You want to know what? I'm going to send you a quick video real quick. I haven't got to listen to it yet, but James O'Keefe did some undercover investigating, and apparently Mr. Rubio wants Carrie Lake to die. He hates her so much.
My goodness.
That's okay.
See, that's when politics steps over those bounds. When you start saying, all right, you need to die because you don't agree with me. That's a bunch.
Oh, you mean like all those liberals that are wanting to kill us on the streets?
Yes, those people.
But yet they want us to unite now. No, F that.
Yeah,
we'll get into that later.
Some people that just,
all right, let me pull.
Not the map I'm looking at.
Well, this may be a little. What, this here?
Why is Maine still counting?
I don't know. Maine should have been one of the earliest in the night because.
Why is Maine still counting?
I don't know.
Zoom out a little bit again.
Yeah.
Why is Washington still counting?
Well, those were on the West Coast, but even so, 3 days later, you should have it done.
They should have it done yesterday.
They got to make sure they have enough to cheat.
Well, the speculation was going around that even though they lost the presidency, Democrats were trying their best to get some of the houses back, or the Senate or the House. But apparently, it looks like, as of right now, the Republicans are on track to gain 2 seats in the House of Representatives too, so they'll probably likely retain the majority. That's not official yet, but I think it's got like a 90% chance of happening. So, and if that happens, Donald Trump's going to have the trifecta, and nobody's going to be able to, kind of obstruct. And that's what Trump did have issues with his first term, no doubt.
Man, doesn't that just suck?
Yeah, for them. Mike says, I feel like too many titles, but I get with the growing women's division why you might want there to be a secondary title on each side.
Okay,
Fair enough.
thanks, Mike.
Fair enough. All right. Now, when it comes, here's the thing that liberals can't stand, and they have no leg to stand on now, because Donald Trump not only won the Electoral College, he also won the popular vote. Now, if you look at this is the Democrat total in the popular vote over the last 5 cycles or so. Do you notice a bit of an outlier there in 2020? Where Joe Biden got 15 or 16 to 20 million more than Obama and Hillary and Kamala.
Damn,
I mean,
guy got 81 million votes.
Can you explain to me? I mean, it just goes to show Democrats turn out with about the same level, except that one little bar there in the middle.
That's wild.
Man, that kind of looks like they cheated.
Kind of, doesn't it? I mean, but we were vilified and kicked off of YouTube and X or Twitter at the time for even suggesting that there's a possibility that those votes were fake.
Yep. They had so many words flagged on Twitter that if you posted it, your post would automatically get deleted.
Yeah, fact checked. This is misinformation.
It's crazy for the guy who was that popular. They ain't got no problem blaming him for the reason why she lost.
No. And it's worth pointing out, too, Donald Trump won the popular vote by roughly 5 million votes.
So what that sounds like is some of you liberals that are crying are doing it for show because some of y'all voted for him. So she wasn't as popular as y'all motherfucking said she was.
Either they just checked out. But this is obviously everything about this yellow line, I think, wasn't real. That's my opinion.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
so
well, if they are as bad as the first video we listened to, once they lose control, they're done. They know it. So they had to try to do everything they could. But it wasn't enough.
Well, and this time there were videos going around. Me and Matt watched them in real time. He was texting me at night.
Busting in votes.
They were busting in votes after the fact again. But this time the RNC and the GOP, they had their poll watchers, 230 some thousand poll watchers in these swing states, making sure that was not going to happen again. And it seems to have paid off. So it just goes to show Donald Trump most likely won 3 terms. But obviously the second one was taken.
So I think he should be president for the next 8 years.
Well, and it's one of those things too. A lot of people are saying now, because of what happened in 2020 and the data that we have now, there's enough data to go back and look at the fact that perhaps to maybe even prove it that it was completely stolen. But this right here is at least a good indicator that it's very, very, very possible. And now people are allowed to talk about it because of X. They're not censoring that opinion no more. And the left can't stand that. And we've also reached the point where even this chart was going around on the social media accounts and everything. There were Democrats even going, shit, maybe we cheated.
Yeah.
I mean,
I saw Brandon one the other night.
Maybe.
I mean, we've officially reached the point in the Matrix where even Democrats said, yeah, it might be stolen. I mean,
wait a minute. 2016, 2012, was that Obama?
Yes. No,
well,
2016 was
2016.
Trump and Hillary.
2016, they wanted Hillary in so bad, but that first time we overwhelmed them.
How did she get more votes than Obama?
No, they were about on par. Obama in 2012 and Hillary was in 2016.
She's a little bit above Obama.
Well, it says here she had the exact amount as Obama did in 2012. So
Yeah.
Obama had more in 2008 because remember he was pulling
Okay, so
huge
she had a
crowds back
million
then.
more votes. She had a million more votes than Hillary.
Oh, Kamala, yes,
Yeah.
yes, supposedly.
Okay,
yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah, I believe that too.
Yeah.
But again, it just goes to show their Democrat voters are consistent.
Yeah.
You know, 65, 69 million, but then Joe gets 81. Little sus. You know, if you ask me.
Wild. That's
But
wild.
I
Donald
don't know
Trump,
how you get
Donald Trump
81
was
million
Donald Trump
votes.
was around 60, I think. What did he get? Like I don't remember what he didn't have the popular vote in 2016, so it was a little less than Hillary, but he won the Electoral College. But
'Cause
then
there's no
he
way.
increased to 74 million in 2020, and now we'll see what the final total is.
You
I think it's
can't
around
tell me that there's
Much more
81 million Democrats in America.
Hold on. If you think about it, right? That 81, right? It still wouldn't have mattered. Did you see how much more popular Trump would have, if it was a state base as it was, how much more popular he was at that time?
Yeah. Yeah. Which is, I mean, and they only won the popular vote by 7 million with Biden. So had they not cheated, he'd have won the popular vote then too.
Yeah, and they
probably.
had COVID, so they shut shit down and
they
made
didn't have that
everybody
advantage.
scared to even fucking breathe.
Hey, Mike, I welcome it. What's the serious political question? I'm curious. Hey, we're all about debate and civil discussion. So whatever you want to talk about, bro, bring it on.
Yes, please throw it on this.
So yeah, I mean, we may not know everything, but we're just reporting the stuff that we do know here. So for sure. But yeah, it's interesting too. If you look at this, supposed fraud arch, which is impossible to get every single vote to go your way, like Joe Biden did at 3 a.m. During the last election in 2020. Kamala didn't have that, and you see here now exactly what would have been. We were trying to tell you, but nobody wanted to listen to us for sure.
Eric.
Yeah.
Was it exactly at 3 a.m. when all
It was
those
around in
votes
that
go?
point. It was about the time we were watching it the other night.
That's
Yeah,
what I was about to bring up, Eric.
That's
That's about the time they started busting in shit in Michigan.
Yeah. The only difference this year, too, is all the mail-in and absentee ballots, they supposedly waited to count in the middle of the night in 2020. This year, though, well, a lot of that too, we had a lot more, Republicans doing that, conservatives. But at the same time, this year, they counted the mail-in ballots and absentee ballots first. So Democrats didn't get that extra push at the end of the night like they were maybe hoping they'd get like they did last time. So that's interesting, too. Mike said, is there anything that the Biden administration did that you actually agreed with? Anything, whether big or small?
Okay.
I would legit have to think because I'm having a hard time.
I did hear the other day that him and Jill both did vote for Trump. I don't know if that's true or not.
I mean, if that's true, I mean, that's one.
Maybe healthcare.
Like what? Any particular?
Like, I don't know. Maybe. How would I describe this without making an ass of myself? Well, I mean, maybe making it more affordable for low-income families.
I'm not even totally sure they did that.
And
you got to understand.
I'm not saying that they did that. I'm just saying that was something that is an issue that I see, but I don't think it's a mounding ride me to the president's office issue.
Well, it's one of those things too with the Biden and Harris administration too. A lot of the bills and stuff that they passed, if you look into what was actually in the bills, like they would call it the infrastructure bill or the CHIPS Act, or they call it the bipartisan border bill that got shot down. But when you actually look at it, it may do a little bit of that, what the bill title is, but the rest of the bill is like, we'll send $400 billion to Ukraine, or let's do all sorts of stuff that wasn't in the bill, that wasn't supposed to be in the bill. So it's a lot of stuff that even though they'll claim that they did this or that and whatever, a lot of it they didn't actually do. They just say they did it.
Yeah.
Again, there's probably a few things that may not have been that bad.
Were you a beneficiary of the student loan thing? No, you paid yours off. Never mind.
Yeah, I paid my student loans off, and I was a critic of that too, just because I don't feel like somebody else should be paying your student loans, because they say it's forgiveness, but it was other taxpayers who were paying it. It wasn't just forgiven; they were still going to get their money. They just framed it as forgiveness.
That's the big reason why I'm Republican and I like the conservative way, is because I don't believe I don't believe in taxing the middle class as the answer.
I think taxes is the answer. You pay sales tax, I understand, but like you hear me bitch about this every tax season.
Yeah.
What I'm essentially doing is earning money that you are taking to apply to ambiguous things. I know them all. Some of them are roads or whatever, but that's not my problem. That's this city's problem. Like, I don't know why. Anyway. But I'm basically then writing you a receipt for all the money I spent. And you take a look at that receipt, and if you're feeling generous, you decide whether or not I get a refund if I hit a certain tax bracket. What you're doing is giving me back the money that I spent or whatever. But then you have the right to go, you moved up because you made a couple extra dollars, so now you owe me some money. Like, I don't get how I owe you money on the fact that I paid you money.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the off chance that I overpaid you, here's your change.
Yeah. You get a little bit of that back, for being a good trooper.
Yeah.
Mike goes, do you ever think I'd contribute to any political talk? No. That's for certain. Because every time we used to hang out at his house and just talking about stuff, and he'd always be like, I don't do politics. And, that's fine. A lot of people are very, and I'm not saying you're cynical, but at the same time, it's like they just don't want to get involved because they feel like nothing's ever going to come out of it. And I get that because I used to feel that way. Yeah. And I still do to some respects. I'm more into it now because I think that Donald Trump is, like I said to start the show, is not your ordinary presidency.
Mm-hmm.
If it was an ordinary presidency, like your George Bush's or whatever it was, George H.W. Bush, whatever, that's what I would consider ordinary. Where it's just the same old establishment government. But Trump is not one of them, and that's what makes him stand out above the rest of them. And that's what makes me more interested in it now. That's why I talk about it now.
But I think
and there's more to life than feeling like shit every day because you ate something that made you inflammatory or whatever. There's so much more to this. My kids mean the world to me, and I want them to grow up in a world worth living.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. 4 years from now, you bet your ass I'll vote for J.D. Vance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll get into who we may be the nominee in 4 years, but in just a little bit. Before we do that, though, I wanted to play this video that Miranda sent about who was it? You said, James O'Keefe was Carrie Lake and her potential Senate race down there in Arizona.
So what does he think about conservatives?
I mean, he fucking hates a lot of them.
What about Carrie Lake?
Oh, he fucking hates her.
Why?
Like, he wants her to die. He fucking hates her. I mean, he thinks that she's a raving lunatic and a threat to democracy. And frankly, if she died, Ruben wouldn't kill her, but Ruben wouldn't go to the funeral.
Meet Ben Rappaport. At the time of these recordings, Ben was the defensive legislative correspondent for Senator Kyrsten Sinema. OMG has uncovered that Senator Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona has an unwritten rule at her Senate office.
She teaches at ASU, and because there's an unwritten rule in our office that ASU gets what they ask for. Like, we always prioritize what ASU asks for very highly.
Who set that rule? That ASU gets whatever they want?
She essentially did. I mean, she never said it out loud, but, it's understood by her senior staff what her priorities are. And then her senior staff, let everyone else let people like me, what those priorities are, and we act on them accordingly.
Now, our OMG American Swiper questioned what Senator Sinema is giving to ASU in order to obtain the president's job. He spoke about the Irregular Warfare Center that ASU has been wanting a long time.
You said that if ASU calls to make a request, she would do it. What's an example of that?
Well, there's a few different things, but this is the biggest one. The military is opening up what's called an Irregular Warfare Center.
Our OMG journalist asked Ben Rappaport if Senator Sinema will get the job if she does the favor of getting the Warfare Center to ASU. Our subject stated, well, not just that, anything else they need also.
I guess my question is what difference from if I were at ASU, I'm well, we're gonna offer her this job. We're gonna offer her this job with the expectation that she's gonna get us that center authorization. But
well, not just that, anything else they need also.
Currently in the U.S. Senate race, Carrie Lake and Ruben Gallego are in a race that is too close to call per multiple news outlets. Maricopa County is dropping off ballots every day. Now, our American Swiper had met up with a subject inside the U.S. Senate and who's extremely familiar with Arizona politics, Arizona State University, and the United States Senate. Meet Ben Rappaport. At the time of these recordings, Ben was the defensive legislative correspondent for Senator Kristen Sinema.
Does it repeat?
Yeah.
Okay. I was making sure. But no, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. And wasn't she the one who literally was being bribed to do certain things and she said no?
Yeah.
That's part of the reason they're trying to railroad her down there. Because she was actually standing up for, values. So good on her if that's the case. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like there may be some shady stuff going down there in Arizona.
Yeah.
Mike said that mostly his deal is how people get so serious and they turn on each other. Ben many saying on Facebook that if you voted for Trump, then they'll delete them. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I mean, more often than not, it seems like conservatives and Republicans will hear you out and then want to just debate and discuss things with you, like we're doing with you right now. But a lot of times you'll get these, Democrats and liberals who,
They didn't want to talk to you.
well, because once you start debating and discussing ideas and what facts are and stuff, a lot of times their argument don't hold weight. So their instinct is to block you and run instead. So because you challenge their worldview. And
It's just like all these videos about asking what policies they'd like of Kamala is the best. They
Yeah.
didn't answer.
Oh, that's exactly what Mike just asked too. Which is kind of,
Yeah.
oh, you mean the one that she's going to implement?
Oh yeah.
Gotcha. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. Yeah, and those are, we've shown here on the channel for weeks how those policies are not good for America. They're not even American.
He mentioned an irregular warfare department. I heard him say that. Miranda, what is the two most profitable things in this world?
War and the medical industry.
Yes.
War and what else?
Big pharma.
Yep.
Big pharma.
Big pharma. Those are the two most profitable things.
And it explains why we have all this crap in our food, like RFK is trying to get out. 'cause
They're
it
not
makes you
killing
sick.
us here with war. They're killing us with food here, and they're killing everybody else with war.
And then once you go to the hospital to get all better, they send you back out to get sick again to come, and it's a vicious, it's a drug ring, is what it is.
Miranda, this ultimately comes up to something else I'm going to mention. Is it population control?
Yeah, just like with the trans agenda.
That's where I'm at.
We'll talk about Trump's plan for that coming up too, so stay tuned. Kathy said, I take care of a veteran. Life is so different in my life. So, and by the way, Kathy, tell your father, correct, if I'm not mistaken?
Right? Yes.
Okay. Tell him, wish him happy Veterans Day on Monday for all of us, and thank you for your service.
Yes, tell him thank you.
No doubt about it. We salute you, as a matter of fact. And for those of you who are unaware, Kamala Harris has new pronouns. It is now has and been. And we are now unburdened by her.
Oh, don't. Oh, God.
What? Too cheesy?
The burden part, I almost threw up in my mouth. Because I heard it so much in her voice that I can't unhear that
I
word.
know. After tonight, hopefully we don't have to hear from her again. So we'll see.
What is a burden could be unburdened.
Yeah, it's horrible. But why did Kamala Harris lose? Well, to be quite frank, America is tired of your shit. But seriously, the bottom line is Kamala was battling real issues with fake issues. Simple as that. Like, for instance, Donald Trump had plans to address the economy. She said Trump Hitler.
Yeah.
Trump said he had plans to address the border. She had Megan Thee Stallion twerking. I mean, big difference to the American people and what they really care about. Here's someone who is describing why she believes that Kamala Harris lost the election.
Kamala Harris did not lose this election because she's a woman. She lost this election because there were American families sitting there telling her how they couldn't afford to put food in their fridge. And her solution was to bring out Meg Thee Stallion to twerk on stage alongside just about every single one of P. Diddy's friends to endorse her. She lost this election because there were Americans who lost everything in an absolutely horrific hurricane. And she sat there telling them that $750 should be enough for them if they even qualify, while simultaneously funding illegals staying in 5-star hotels in New York City, receiving getting 3 meals a day provided to them by taxpayer dollars. She lost this election because she sat there talking about how anti-racism she was while simultaneously blaming straight white men for just about every single problem this country has. Isn't it funny that if you demonize a group of people long enough for merely existing, they might not want to vote for you? American politics has changed forever. You will no longer be able to sit there and bully Americans into voting for you. It won't work. Unfortunately, our politicians on both sides seem to forget that they are actually public servants. They answer to the public, not the other way around. And they need to get behind that. They need to understand that, and they need to change and reform their policies to fit what the public is saying, or they will get left in the dust, as Kamala learned the hard way yesterday.
That was beautiful.
Nailed it. And we got one of our favorites here on the channel, Alexandra Lanes, talking about Donald Trump as the 47th president, and you shouldn't be surprised at all.
I am so relieved to say that Donald J. Trump is going to be the 47th president of the United States. The red wave that we were expecting in 2020 is the one that we received this time. All the swing states, the popular vote, Senate majority, almost House majority. This just shows that no amount of identity politics, no amount of celebrity influence or media manipulation could stand against the power of truth, because people were desperate. America was sick of the careless leadership, radical agendas, mass illegal immigration, skyrocketing inflation, constant hate and division. I'm not surprised that the campaign that only ran on abortion and hating Trump, with a sprinkle of celebrity endorsements, lost. Never mind the dismissal of Jesus as the cherry on top. While the left was targeting millions of Americans with a political campaign that was specifically designed to instill fear, they forgot and neglected the other millions of Americans that love this country and love their families more than they hated Trump, because they just can't fathom loving anybody more than themselves. I need to stress this to you. Not a single right is going to be taken from you.
Yeah.
He didn't take any away when he was president the first 4 years either. All Americans are about to thrive. Lower interest rates, healthier foods, secure nation with a secure border. Your right to abort your children was never constitutional, and in some states is not going away. So please, let's just control the hysterics, and please just open your eyes to see the prosperity that this nation is about to experience.
Yeah, she's right.
But that's the
Both
thing.
of them.
That's the thing. That's the one thing I guess I've learned these last couple of days. There are people that are too far gone. They drink way too much of the fucking Kool-Aid.
Big time.
But there is a large amount, surprisingly, of Black, Latino people who got it and finally was like, no, they didn't fall for all the fanfare. They didn't fall for the shit that we would normally fall for. But to see the comments of the people that are too far in,
We're going to watch some of those meltdowns here in a minute, too.
They don't get it.
For me, being Black, look, lives are different. So the feeling that you get when you read some of the comments that people say, like your own people say to your own people, even though you come from a life where you down your own people, it's mad different when you feel like I'm able to look past all the bullshit that y'all can't seem to get by anymore. Like, common sense was a big thing for me growing up. I mean, my mother was a very common sense woman. But I promise you, I can't say without a shadow of a doubt that she wouldn't have voted Democrat. But I also know my mother's not going to fall for the bullshit. She's able to see past all of that. I don't know where that is lost in a community that literally that's how you operate. That's how you're forced to operate. It's fucking weird.
Yeah. The only way to change that is to break out of the mold.
Yeah, and a lot of them did.
And finally, America had enough.
And it's like,
finally,
it's such a relief.
You
know what I
feed
mean?
somebody so much stuff until they eventually become fed up. She even said it in her
concession speech. Yeah.
Or not confession speech, but her
might as well be her confession speech.
Yeah, I was about to say.
but anyways,
which we're going to cover.
She said it. She goes, "Well, with our we built communities. We brought communities together." I said, "No, you didn't." Hold on a second.
If anything, you tore them down.
Hold on a second. You didn't bring anything together. What you did was you fed people as much bullshit till they followed you, till they followed you.
Because they had no choice.
And those people showed up on that night
Yeah.
to do that. And you don't even have the common decency to go out there and talk to those people.
Well, this is the thing that bugs me about like food stamps, because they put you like they put you in a situation in the community where you can't afford food. So you then you have to get the food stamps in order to eat. But when they do that, now you're reliant upon the government to feed you.
Once they got you, they got you.
So when somebody like Trump comes along and says we need to get people off food stamps, then the media and Democrats like to say, well, by doing that, you're trying to take away food from people. No, you're trying to take away the ability to keep them suppressed and oppressed by the government, and they could do it for themselves. That's a good thing. But that's how they love to twist crap, and it drives me crazy.
But she's like, oh yeah, we did communities, we bought communities. I said, man, those communities just showed you that they're ready to train. They're ready to change.
Yeah. Like, I don't know where you get this notion that, like, you know what? If you was black, you would have got it. This would have never happened. But because you'd have picked up on it. In black culture, like, for real, like, if a black person sees you full of shit, but for popularity's sake, they want to still rock with you, just for the clout or whatever. No intentions on following you, but we'll tag along for the money, right? If you would have saw that, because I promise you, because like I said, these videos that I've seen of all these black influencers, or from their perspective, they were like, nah, we was there, we drunk the Kool-Aid, whatever. But then, like, you started to see behind the curtain, like, nah, this ain't gonna look good for me. And they changed, and they went with the guy that they weren't supposed to. But like a lot of them, when they also realized they were on the wrong side, I swear to you, it's like they opened their eyes to the fact that this man did this for black people, that he did the HBCUs, the jobs, but he's a cultural icon in the black community. There's literal songs
written about Trump for years. I mean, shoot, there's pictures of him, like, what, with, like, who was the, gosh, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
With black people over the years
Oprah.
getting awards. Oprah, for one. But then, like,
he was on her show.
Was it Reverend Sharpton? Things like that.
So, and Jesse Jackson.
So he's been around, and nobody called him racist until he ran for office as a Republican. That's it.
Because everybody thought he was joking. He even said he was joking when he first said it. But then, if I'm not mistaken, when he said it, Oprah said, she literally said, I'd vote for you.
Oh, you're talking about running for president, joking?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, what is he talking about? But yeah,
when he talked about it.
And then he even showed a letter not too long back where Oprah sent him a letter, said she'd love to run with him. So, and now she's singing a completely different tune. It's ridiculous. Mike said, I tell my son that I'm not 100% either party. Both have things I agree with, but both also have things I'm against. It's picking who you feel is the lesser of two evils. And a lot of people do look at it that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you're not alone in that regard.
No, because I mean, I've always said this. I've told Miranda this too. Like, I know where my priorities lie. If you ask me whether I'm Republican or Democrat, no, it's usually down the middle. Like, that's usually where I lie. I can see on one hand, not the last 4 years. Like, I promise you that. Like, some of these shit was so fucking
Pontius Pilate.
I know where I want to go.
I want to go.
So I don't lean one hard or one. You know what I mean? Like, but I go towards what I believe. And again, a lot of this is. I saw how he handled himself after never ever being a politician, never being. He had no, you know what I'm saying? But the way he talked to foreign leaders, the way he talked, you know what I mean? Like the way he carried himself. Yeah. He made America what it should feel like to the outside world. Like,
respected.
It's like
peace through strength. He stood up to everybody. He's got the ability to create world peace.
We're going to
the only thing people can't agree with him on is his abortion issues.
And it's not even a crazy abortion issue.
Hold on.
Yeah.
These women who say they're not going to have sex now because, Trump's president, Good. Now you won't even fucking need the abortion that you're crying that you can't get, because that's the only reason why they're mad.
Well, then
They
I don't
can't
understand
force-
why everybody's,
Yeah.
the abortion issue is such a big issue right now anyway, because it's not a federal issue anymore. It's a
No,
state's issue.
it's not.
So there's nothing that Trump can do about it.
And he's not against the medically necessary, the rape and incest. He's not against those. He's against the form of birth control that Planned Parenthood has brainwashed these fucking women into thinking they need.
Eric,
What?
you're a big Bible guy. I know you.
I try.
Okay, okay. What was it? It was Barabbas, wasn't it?
Barabbas and Jesus was, and it
Jesus
gave.
was getting crucified. And
Well, he
Barabbas,
was sentenced to.
he was a criminal. He was a killer.
Yes, he was a criminal, and the crowd chose Barabbas over Jesus. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Now,
this is what Brandon was saying. People will follow bullshit regardless of what they're told because they like to hear the sound of what they're hearing.
well, not only that, people don't like truth.
That's right. That's right.
So in Jesus's case,
They
there was no
didn't
fault in
understand.
him.
That's
But
These
they chose.
assholes on the left seriously worship Satan.
Okay,
Times.
Miranda, I understand they do that, and this has to do with that.
Well, they've been in charge for the last 4 years, so
Well, they ain't in charge no more.
you
are
need
they?
to face the music, Matt. They're
they
actually
are.
worshiping Satan.
Miranda,
And
they are
there's
going to
a-
face the music. They're going to go to
There's this
jail.
nasty ass chick
They're gonna go
on
to hell.
one of the rants that she wants to start killing these white men.
That's their stupidity.
She'll tell you they worship Satan.
Oh, I know they are. I know exactly how bad they are.
Mike said, "My boy was Trump all the way." By the way, and he said, unfortunately, he won't be able to vote in the next presidential election because he won't be 18 until that December. Well, his time's coming. He'll have plenty of opportunity. I'm sure, no doubt about it.
He can
But,
still
and
talk about who he would vote for. At
and, as,
17.
and kind of what Brandon was saying too. Life is, in my opinion, is about balance. Not to
My
use like
brother.
a Star Wars front thing, but but like the good and the evil, and Democrat, Republican, there is a middle ground. But the problem right now is you got Trump is center-ish, a little to the right of it right now, but he was a former Democrat who was on the left. But the left has gone so crazy to the left that they're the crazy ones now, and Donald Trump's the common sense one. But they say he's far right, but he's not. He's more center, barely right. But the left is the ones who's gone so far that people just can't follow them anymore.
What was it RFK said? We got to save democracy. Well, they've destroyed democracy.
Oh,
They
you mean
destroyed it.
Biden and them?
Well,
Gotta be
Biden and
purely.
Biden and them.
I was gonna
They've
say
cheated. They've destroyed what it stood for.
But that's the thing I can't understand too. I'm trying to wrap my mind and do the math around. Democrats are now saying that because Trump was elected democratically, that democracy is now destroyed. I can't figure that one out
No, that's not how that works.
because it doesn't make sense. But anyway,
No, not to mention that Kamala was installed as the Democratic candidate without any sort of vote or anything. But it's Trump's fault that democracy's dead.
Yeah, and that may have swayed.
Yeah,
and that may have pushed some Democrats to not vote for her right away because they're like, that's not democratic either. So, and I can't blame him if that's the case.
Aaron,
All right,
I
well,
still need
See,
to follow
I told that I was talking to Brandon on the car ride home yesterday that I think Kamala would have gotten more votes if she actually would have showed the people what she could do as VP.
Yeah.
Then the people would be like, oh, if she can do this as VP, then she can do more as president. But the thing is that she didn't do anything, and she just thought that she could laugh her way to the presidency.
Yeah,
fucking laugh.
Well, that's because their entire presidency, your eyes were on all the lawsuits and shit Trump was going through. They didn't do shit for us. Yeah. The only thing they did was give money to Ukraine.
A whole lot of it too.
And
And those lawsuits, Miranda, bit them in the ass.
Well, we're
And open the fucking border wide. She was supposed to be the border czar. I don't give a fuck what she says. She was supposed to be the border czar.
Well, and it's funny too to hear the media right now. They keep saying, "Well, Joe Biden should have dropped out earlier. Kamala just didn't have enough time. She was only running for like 100 some days. She had 4 years.
Yeah,
we knew who she was.
Inside.
That's not the issue. But Mike did ask you. Oh, go ahead.
Here's a quick thing. Like, You know, they want to complain about Roe v. Wade and everything, and it's like Biden and Harris had 4 years to overturn that and everything.
And
But
I
they
believe
didn't.
the majority, if I'm not mistaken, for the first 2 years. And
Yeah,
they didn't do shit.
They didn't do it. So how is that like Trump's fault when they had 4 years to overturn it and they didn't do a thing?
Because they made it seem like their hands were tied. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors type shit, dude.
Well,
Again, I don't understand how people don't see shit like this.
Because they don't take the time.
It's
I'll be right back, guys.
You know,
sorry.
Go ahead.
That's what one Democratic influencer said, is that they couldn't do anything because the policies that Trump put into place said that they wouldn't be able to be overturned until 2025. And I was like, when has that ever been a thing? I've never heard of that until just now.
It didn't stop them from overturning everything else that Trump did.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what they were trying to say about the Afghanistan withdrawal. Oh, it was because Trump's the way he designed the withdrawal is the way it went the way it did. But you overturned how many executive orders and stuff when you first came in there? But that's the one you couldn't fix?
Is that
it doesn't make any sense.
Is that a chicken with a sombrero?
That's an eagle with a
Oh,
coat.
okay.
That
By
is
the
an
way,
eagle, you nincompoop.
that is patriotic as all get out, buddy.
Yeah,
I love
like it.
So,
that's
Mike
the thing
did
I
ask
don't-
real quick, how come Aaron never shows his face anymore? I guess because he's got kids. He kind of
got
want to jump in
kids.
the frame.
Yeah.
So he mutes himself and he can talk when he can. So that's
So this is what I don't understand, and I kept asking you this too, Eric. We've had this conversation numerous fucking times. How can you believe somebody who says they're going to do this, and this?
Yep.
but only after I'm elected.
Yeah,
I'm already in power.
But you already,
Brandon, you talked about this with me.
How the fuck? You didn't do anything for 4 years.
Yeah.
That you bitched. You were on TV bitching to people about before you even decided. Well, before you got selected to be the president. If you knew her track record going in, which they didn't want to talk about.
Yeah,
which
because it
is
was
also
good.
Fucking weird.
Yeah,
like
they had no leg to stand on with it. Her record was Joe Biden.
Again,
They tried to separate it, but couldn't.
But here's the thing, because she tried to compare it to, because again, he got the popular vote. So they tried to compare it to his, that way she would look more favorable. But then you started to notice that people were like, we didn't like any of that shit that he was doing. So now they had to like distance her, but they never talked about it. But it made it seem like you were being sexual or sexist, misogynistic, and racist if you brought it up.
Yeah, which is not it at all. Their other favorite excuse is, well, she was the vice president. She wasn't the president. She couldn't do anything. She's the number 2 person in power. You mean to tell me she does not have Joe Biden's ear? Out of here with that weak excuse.
I also want to emphasize that that vote has nothing to do with the fact that she is a woman and he is a man.
No, and we're going to talk about that here.
Do everything.
We got a lot of this stuff we're jumping ahead on, but
that never did have anything to do with that. I don't even want to hear that argument.
Yeah,
I don't even want to hear that.
No. Mike said Seth let his kid on last week and she stole the show. But yeah, well, Seth didn't mind. Aaron does. He doesn't want his kids on camera.
Yeah.
So,
Unfortunately, with all the stuff that has come out with like what AI can do, I no longer want my kids anywhere in social media because it is.
And
scary.
Aaron, I understand that completely.
And with the growing numbers of predators nowadays, and how one side of the coin seems to be more and more accepting of it, I'm not okay with my kids being on social media.
I get that.
all right, guys, let's get to moving here. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got to
Okay, go. Next
all right.
slide.
Next slide. Exactly. You know what they say? Go woke, go broke. We've got multiple, bits of evidence of this happening over the last 4 some years or so during Biden's presidency. Bud Light lost $27 billion following the Dylan Mulvaney debacle, and they've still not fully recovered from that, as we discussed earlier there. We've also got Target let's see here. Their stocks plummeted after their Pride selection began to involve children's attire, complete with swimsuits that would allow for tucking. they've now tried to fix their image and are now going back to normalcy and hanging signs in their stores that say Merry Christmas for the upcoming holiday season, no longer saying Happy Holidays. So we're kind of going back to those days where we're not being so PC here in Target.
Okay.
So they're trying to get some of their
Okay.
shoppers to come back. Well,
but that's too late.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy that shit.
And Target lost $12 billion in
That's
14
their
days
fault.
because of that Pride fiasco that they
That's
had
their
for sure.
stupidity.
We also had Netflix, who lost subscribers at the rate of 800% after the release of Cuties, which was a sexualized movie that sexualized children on their streaming platform. I definitely don't recommend going to look that
I
up.
did not know about
Rather
that.
disturbing. Came back. I think it came out in like maybe 2020, if I'm not mistaken. Disney and Hollywood in general is feeling the effects of wokeness as the theater industry continues to slowly die out by injecting DEI and checking off boxes in their films instead of making good entertainment. And now, on top of all that, obviously Disney losing stock price over the last 2 to 3 years for sure. And now we've got, of course, with the election this week, Democrats who are suffering from going woke and going broke as they were too busy waving a foreign nation's flag on the House floor to care about the concerns of the people that they swore oaths to actually protect here in the United States.
Man.
So
isn't that a shame?
Yeah. So I mean, pictures like
I love
this
that picture
with Nancy Pelosi, former Speaker of the House. You could inject that right into my veins over and over and over again with her being
I want
upset.
a poster size picture of that picture.
I mean, that right there. I mean, she is corrupt to the core.
She's mean.
Yeah, the Netflix thing was disturbing. If you want to look up, the movie's called Cuties. It's very disturbing to say
That
the least.
woman is pure evil, Eric.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm not upset about her crying. And here's her obviously crying the day of the election, or maybe the day after Donald Trump won. She definitely is very disheveled here.
Oh, no, fuck.
Listen to what she says.
There's no point in saying good morning because it certainly is not one.
So she is all heartbroken. Of course, she was on record as saying a few, weeks or months ago that her sole purpose in life is to ensure that Donald Trump never steps foot in the White House ever again, because, it just ruins her progressive ideas and everything that they want to do over there on the Democratic side. And now she's having a hard time dealing with it. So now they have finally felt the effect of their terrible leftist ideologies, and they can't contest it because the Democrats' defeat was so resounding by the popular vote. So
I want to tell you something, Eric. I'm proud of Indiana.
Well, I'm outside of Monroe County, which is always blue.
Monroe County's always been Democrat.
Indianapolis, South Bend, and Gary, Indiana is normally the blue counties in the state.
They always will be Democrat, but I'm proud of Indiana for voting red. That's a majority red state.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Indiana is a majority, and not like Oklahoma, which is completely red.
Oklahoma, Tennessee's got 2 Democratic counties too, and I was surprised to see that.
They always say there are no blue states. Now, they're obviously Massachusetts, I would say Rhode Island are, and Connecticut are pretty much blue.
They have always been blue. And
it's pretty much blue cities, not blue states. But they always say, obviously, too, those cities hold the most population. And that is what votes, not land, people do. But
what is that down there in Florida? Is that Fort Lauderdale?
It's usually Miami down in that area. But even though I heard Miami went red this year, so this map may be a little out of date. But at the same time, I just thought I'd show this map for sure, because after the election this week, it was a complete repudiation by the American people, where they stood up with one loud voice and said, enough is enough. This was a rebuke of woke ideology, DEI, men and women's sports and in their bathrooms, gender-affirming care for children, sexual perversions being taught in schools, drag queen story hour, and more. According to this map, Donald Trump has better coverage than Verizon. Can you hear us now?
Did you talk about how Oklahoma is completely red?
Yes, a little. We mentioned it for a second.
We just were talking about Indiana.
Oh, you're good. But yeah, so glad to have you back.
How you live in that one blue square? Or
yeah, I know.
Yeah, we
come on. Hey,
square.
At least I contributed to the popular vote, so there's always that. So here's Scott Jennings on CNN, who's one of the actual voices of reason on CNN, discussing all this stuff and how Donald Trump now has a mandate after winning the trifecta here in the election.
This is a mandate. He's won the national popular vote. for the first time for a Republican for the first time since 2004. This is a big deal. This isn't backing into the office. This is a mandate to do what you said you were going to do. Get the economy working again for regular working class Americans, fix immigration, try to get crime under control, try to reduce the chaos in the world. This is a mandate from the American people to do that. I think I'm interpreting the results tonight as the revenge of just the regular old working class American, the anonymous American who has been crushed, insulted, condescended to. They're not garbage. They're not Nazis. They're just regular people who get up and go to work every day and are trying to make a better life for their kids. And they feel like they have been told to just shut up when they have complained about the things that are hurting them in their own lives. Yeah. I also feel like this election, as we sit here and pour over this tonight, is something of an indictment of the political information complex. I mean, we've been sitting around here for the last couple of weeks, and the story that was portrayed was not true. I mean, we were told Puerto Rico was going to change the election. Liz Cheney, Nikki Haley voters, women lying to their husbands. Before that, it was Tim Walz and the camo hats. Night after night after night, we were told all these things and gimmicks were going to somehow push Harris over the line. And we were just ignoring the fundamentals. Inflation, people feeling like that they were barely able to tread water at best. That was the fundamentals of the election. And so I think that both parties should always look at the results of an election and figure out what went right and what went wrong. But I think for all of us who cover elections and talk about elections and do this on a day-to-day basis, we have to figure out how to understand, talk to, and listen to the half of the country that rose up tonight and said, we've had enough.
Well put, Scott Jennings. One of the best things CNN has produced in a long, long time. And Mike said in the chat, the last elected Democratic governor in Indiana was Frank O'Bannon from 1997 to 2003. Yeah, it's been a minute since a Democrat has governed Indiana. So
it has been a long time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This week, obviously, Donald Trump is getting congratulated by many people around the world. And one of them is Javier Milei of Argentina, who I love, by the way, offered his congratulations to Trump and is set to meet Donald Trump next week at Mar-a-Lago. He's going to show Donald Trump and Elon Musk how easy it is to cut useless government spending departments on the new DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency Board. This is what he's going to be basically showing Donald Trump how to do when it comes to these useless government departments.
Ministerio de Turismo y Deporte, afuera. Ministerio de Cultura, afuera. Ministerio de Ambiente y Desarrollo Sostenible, afuera. Ministerio de las Mujeres y Género y Diversidad, afuera. Ministerio de Obras Públicas, afuera. Aunque te resistas. Ministerio de Ciencia y Tecnología y Innovación, afuera. Ministerio de Trabajo, Empleo y Seguridad Social, afuera. Ministerio de Educación, adoctrinamiento, afuera. Ministerio de Transporte, afuera. Ministerio de Salud, afuera.
So yeah, afuera is my new favorite term because let's be honest, in order to have a successful country, you want less government, not more. Look at what happened with Elon Musk when he bought Twitter. He reduced it by what, 80%, and it's bigger now than it's ever been. You don't need to have all these useless departments that do nothing but collect a government paycheck for the most part. So
I do nothing.
It's going to be a good thing. Not to mention things are happening. Yeah, well, things are happening very fast and are already looking up. And Donald Trump hasn't even been sworn in yet in January. Already this week alone, following the election, within 48 hours, Hamas called for an immediate end to the war after Trump won the election against Israel. Yeah. Also, Vladimir Putin, who's in a war with Ukraine right now, says he's now ready for peace talks, that Donald Trump has now been elected and Russia supports the end of the war.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah. Iran, also who backs the Houthis, have announced a ceasefire as well. So, and then we also have China now has come out and says we respect the choice of the American people. We want to have a peaceful coexistence with the United States.
And not Taiwan.
Right? So
like
Daddy's
I said,
back.
Man, he's gonna world peace. That's what we're gonna get.
And I tell you what, isn't it magical that the war that was going on for 4 years magically ends?
what happens when you have somebody in office who isn't using the war, and all the senators and Republicans, or senators and representatives, Democrat and Republican, who are not just in it for a paycheck with these money laundering schemes.
War
and war.
Big Pharma are the two big.
Donald Trump has diplomacy with these people. It's not because he's cozying up to dictators. It's not because he's cozying up to fascists. It's because he's actually trying to get peace around the world to get people from stop dying.
Because he gets things done and he intimidates them.
Yeah, this is strength, or peace through strength, as Miranda put it earlier, for sure.
Yes, exactly, Miranda. That's a good way to put it.
Also, this week, already starting to. Well, I don't have it here. I'll have to pull it up on the other slide here, just a second. But what's the thoughts on that there, with the wars already looking like they're going to come to an end before he even becomes president? I mean,
he told you.
Yep.
He tried to tell everybody this is what was going to happen.
It's because of the incompetence that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were doing. That's why they even were still existing to begin with. So,
what was it? What was it? 2 months ago, Miranda, we were talking about World War III.
Hell, they were talking about World War III the first time Trump was elected. He's going to get us into World War III, and guess what? No new wars under Donald Trump.
Nope.
Yeah, there were conflicts going on, but he didn't start any wars. Not at all.
Dude, I'd like to see him fire a missile to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, also this. Well, Trump dropped some Moabs and some drone strikes. I mean, every president does certain things like that.
You have to.
He took out some leaders.
Yeah, Soleimani was one, which is why Iran was pissed at us.
You don't keep
still are. They're trying to take him out still.
Yeah. You don't keep these guys in line. They're going.
Oh no, Iran called off the bounty on him.
Did they?
Yes, I seen that right
they
before.
caught one guy. The DOJ maybe caught somebody, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to find it or
I'll
not.
have to
But I
look
seen
into
it
that
a little
more.
bit ago.
But either way, they're going to get in line now too, because they're not going to have any money once Trump gets in there. They were broke when Trump was in there, which is why they couldn't fund their proxy wars. So yeah, we're definitely on our way there, Kathy, in my opinion.
I wonder what happened to BlackRock.
My bad, Mike. Mike also said Joseph Keenan would take over when O'Bannon passed while in office and serve until 2005. So yeah, I didn't remember O'Bannon passed when he was in office.
I didn't know that.
I was, right out of high school at that point, so it's been a minute.
It's way before my time.
been a minute. Also this week, to kind of continue with stuff that's already going on, the well is beginning to dry up here in New York City, as New York has decided to stop vouchers for free food assistance for illegals. Like I said earlier, that's a good thing. Although it's also going to stop the incentive for illegals to come here, which should have been done all along, which just goes to show they could have done it at any time, but they chose not to because they wanted them to come here to kind of pad their electorate when it comes to these swing states for sure. And Mexico is actively telling migrant caravans not to come to the United States. Trump gets elected and the world is already falling in line because they know he means business. And Mexico, for one, is terrified of the tariffs he would impose on them if they don't stop this migrant caravans that are coming up. So,
see, that really sucks for the Democrats because that's their main voting cheating force right there.
That's what they were hoping to, because they want every state to be California.
Yeah.
Because Ronald Reagan, back in the 80s, granted amnesty to a bunch of migrants in California. And since then, the state's been blue. That's what Democrats want to do now. That's one of the reasons Trump's against it. It's not so much that he doesn't want Democrats to, have power. It's because he wants it fair. The difference. He doesn't want Republicans to always have. He just wants to. He's a fair guy. If you listen to the way he talks, actually, more and more. We also got Wall Street and Bitcoin have hit all-time record high. Well, Bitcoin's hit an all-time record high. The stock market has hit the highest mark since 2022 after Donald Trump won the election. So already our, finances are getting better, and he's not even taking the oath of office yet. We've also got court cases being dropped against Donald Trump. Here's a video from Fox talking about Jack Smith's fraudulent 34 convictions and things. Oh, well, that's Merchant, but multiple court cases.
We have some news about special counsel Jack Smith, this man right here. Donald Trump said recently that he would fire Jack Smith, quote, within 2 seconds of taking office. Well, we found out that he may not have that opportunity. The reason is that the Department of Justice, where Jack Smith works, cannot prosecute a sitting president. Fox News is told that Jack Smith will be gone from his post as special counsel, meaning the cases will be gone before Trump takes the oath of office at noon on January 20th. This is the documents case, though that was dropped already by Judge Eileen Cannon back over the summer, and it's on appeal, but also this case for Trump's alleged efforts to try to overturn the 2020 election. So given the fact DOJ policy says you cannot prosecute a sitting president, expect Jack Smith's cases to be done. The last case, and I'll end on this, is that Atlanta case that deals with the 2020 elections. That's a local Georgia case. We've seen over the last year how that has played out with Fonnie Willis, Nathan Wade.
That's a clown
that has
show.
Many problems, many different delays. So the bottom line for my story to all of you right now, Donald Trump's legal problems have essentially all gone away since he won last night.
So how'd that work out for you guys who were trying to get him on bogus charges? Way to go, loser. Yeah. So Jack Smith, good luck, buddy. We also got New York Judge Merchan is considering throwing out the fraudulent 34 convictions that Trump was scheduled to be sentenced for later this month. Gee, I wonder why. I mean, they were all BS anyway, and now they're not going to go anywhere. I'd be surprised if that sentencing even takes place because, I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. So just why?
Is it mean that I love every minute of this?
Yeah, I mean, this is liberal tears. Like I said, I'm drinking them up in spades. Mike says, being serious when asking this, does Trump pardon his good friend Vince McMahon or any potential current crimes?
No.
He stay clear of it all. He does not.
No, Vince McMahon gets exactly what he deserves.
I Trump for that. I'll be the first guy to criticize Trump. I don't care that Vince or that Linda McMahon is in his cabinet. I think Linda would probably be for the fact that he goes to jail, to be honest with you. So
he's a bad man.
Now, as a sign of good faith, I can maybe see Trump pardoning Hunter Biden. I hope he don't do that either.
Yeah, I hope so.
But we'll see. But no, I don't think he will. But if he does, I'll be the first one on here saying, Trump, that's a bad move. Don't do it.
The only people that I want to see Trump pardon are the people that Camilla has put in prison wrongfully.
Yes, the January 6th people. Like I said,
people, but also like the people before that while she was a prosecutor who are still serving.
Oh, yeah, those people in California. Yeah, that's true, too. But yeah, definitely the January 6ers for sure, too. Because like I said, a lot of people on January 6th did not commit crimes. They were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they tried to throw the book at them.
Wait a minute. She was the prosecutor?
In California. Well, she was a attorney general.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's where she got her start.
Man, she got
Willie
exactly
Brown.
what she deserved.
Well, that she was prosecuting people and kept them far past their sentence so she could use them for cheap labor when it comes to fighting forest fires and stuff. So yeah, she didn't care about these people's lives. She even had one person, I think, on death row who was innocent, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my God.
So yeah, this is why she was rejected in full force, mostly. Now, make no mistake, it isn't just about Donald Trump being the incoming president. Translation: all these people here, the AGs and stuff who are now running scared, they're scared shitless of the wrath about to be unleashed on them for those who have used lawfare on BS issues to try to get Donald Trump, and everybody knows it. Although it's a lot like watching the roaches scatter when the lights come on. This is what this is.
Yes.
But there's one person who's going to apparently ride the ship until it sinks completely. We'll see if she keeps this up. And here's Letitia James saying she's not giving up.
We did not expect this result, but we are prepared to respond to this result. And my office has been preparing for several months because we've been here before. We faced this challenge before, and we use the rule of law to fight back. And we are prepared to fight back once again.
Yeah, so and I'll get to your comment in just a second, Mike. Yeah, so that's all well and good, but apparently Trump ally Mike Davis, who could end up being Donald Trump's attorney general, has now warned Letitia James on Benny Johnson's show to back off the president-elect. This could be hilarious. Listen to what he has to say.
Let me just say this to Big Tish James, the New York attorney general. I dare you. I dare you to try to continue your lawfare against President Trump in his second term, because listen here, sweetheart, we're not messing around this time, and we will put your fat ass in prison for conspiracy against rights. Yeah, I promise you that. So think long and hard before you want to violate President Trump's constitutional rights or any other Americans' constitutional rights. It's not going to happen again.
Good for them, man. If you ask me, I think that's absolutely great.
Did he say put her fat ass in prison?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sure
That's
did.
what I thought he said.
Yeah. He's absolutely
I'm
right
pretty
about
sure
that.
I wanted to repeat what he said because in case people didn't hear it the first time.
Mike in the comment has a good question, and we've discussed this a little bit. But how much do you want to bet that liberals protest at the Capitol this time around? That's the thing. I could fully see that happening, no doubt, and it could be a lot worse because we got to remember here, and I know we've talked about this before, but Mike hasn't been listening probably a lot during the political stuff. But we're in a unique situation right now where Kamala Harris is in the situation because she's the vice president. It's her duty to certify this election. It's the exact same thing that happened with the January 6th riots. They were upset with the election, and some of the Trump supporters probably wanted Mike Pence not to certify it. There's been big questions about whether or not he had the ability to do so. The Democrats even went so far as to change the law to ensure that the vice president does not have the ability to not certify it. So look, Kamala Harris must certify the election by the law now. Now, she's already said that she will do so. We'll see. But will that sit well with the Democratic voter base and the people who will cause riots? Well, we don't know. It's going to be a lot harder for Democrats to deny elections this time around just because the popular vote was so overwhelming. They don't have that leg to stand on now. If it was just the Electoral College, they could be like, well, majority of people didn't want him. They don't have that argument now. So we'll have to see how it goes. So far, it's not gotten violent, but we're still early in this process. We got still 70-some days before the inauguration, so that could change. Brandon, you're muted, buddy. Oh. Maybe he come back here. Come on, buddy.
What happened?
Oh no, it's on his end. I can't unmute.
All right, there. I got it.
All right, cool.
I couldn't find it. I don't understand why. Like, I legit don't understand why these Democratic leaders and shit and these people are okay with your city getting burned, because that's what it is. It's your city getting torn apart. But yet you encourage the shit by saying, they're because they'll be protesting this is what they'll be protesting the election, so it'll be okay. Because the whole messaging now is that's what they want you to do.
Yeah, because now we got to protect democracy. Before it was a threat to democracy. Now, because Trump is the dictator, Hitler, fascist, that'll be perfectly okay now because now democracy's been stolen. I can totally see that happening. Let's hope it doesn't, and hopefully they continue to keep their sense about them, even though I think it's false, which we're going to talk about in a little bit too. These people must be held accountable. I pray Trump does absolutely this. He needs to investigate these people. I know there's going to be a lot of people saying it's him going after his political opponents. There's a difference between retribution and revenge and accountability and justice. That's what needs to take place.
Did you say Hitler fascist?
Whatever, Hitler dictator, whatever, all this.
Hitler dictator fascist. Okay. We elected him.
Well, they elected Hitler too back in the day is what their argument is.
Okay.
But
he knows his way in there.
There's no parallel here.
Through dictative socialism, which is what she tried to do. If you really want to talk about it.
Well, if you want to talk about dictators and fascists, I mean, you got the president of the United States who literally tried to use OSHA to mandate you take vaccines against your will, tried to circumvent the Supreme Court to forgive student loans or pass it off to the taxpayers. We got, Kamala Harris being installed without a primary process. That's fascist.
That's what I'm trying to say, Eric.
That's not what Trump did. That's what Biden and Harris did.
That's what Biden Harris did. So if you really want to have that argument with me, which trust me, I've got all time of day. I'll sit there, I'll even drink my coffee and listen to you. Anyways, besides the point, he has done absolutely nothing wrong.
No, I'm not saying the man's perfect. He's not. Nobody is. But the stuff they're saying he's doing, you got 26 women coming out, 30 years later saying that he, sexually assaulted them, and one of them can't even remember.
I don't buy that.
E.G. Carroll, who can't even remember the details of the event. I don't know. If you were raped, you would think that would be seared into your memory forever.
I don't buy that.
It's bull.
Since you brought that up, there's a girl by the name of Allie Carter who is recounting her rape that happened while she was a Diddy product, I guess we'll call her.
Doesn't surprise me. Anyways,
She
Miranda.
was 13 years old at the time.
Oh man, these people need to go to jail and burn.
Mhm.
And I hope
Miranda.
Trump will get
What?
When you watch Trump's campaign, you would agree with me, and I know I'm talking to you because you agree with me on this. He sat back and let them practically just hang themselves.
And that's part of the reason.
He did it during both debates.
Mm-hmm.
He did it when they tried to debate him. He goes, "Nah, I'm not doing that." He's not saying it because he's scared. He never denied debate. She's the one to debate him because she didn't want to be. Here's the word I'm going to use: exposed.
Well, this is why I think the fact that Trump lost in 2020 was actually a blessing in disguise.
Yep.
These last 4 years have shown the world
who
these people are.
Yep.
And now when Trump goes in there and makes all these changes, there's not going to be quite as much resistance as you might think.
Because let me tell you something right now. In 2028, they better have a hell of a candidate. Because let me tell you something. They're not going to see one for a while.
Well, it's going to be interesting too because both parties are going to have new candidates in 2028, so that's going to be interesting. Well, there'll be somebody we probably know now, but it won't be Trump or Biden. It won't be, it'll be somebody.
Let me tell you something.
You know what? I'm going to call it right now. America's going to be doing so good by 2028. I don't even think they're going to try to run anybody.
That's
JD Vance or whoever will be running uncontested.
That's what I think.
It's interesting.
Or they give it to Trump for 8 years, like I want, because of 2020.
JD Vance is going to show the world how much Kamala Harris didn't do as a vice president. JD Vance is going to get in there and he's going to kick ass is what he's going to do. And then when he gets in there, he's going to show these people, vote for me because I can get things done.
His entire team is going to kick ass.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Kash Patel to get a position.
And you know what, Miranda and Eric, that's why they're so scared. If they weren't scared, you know what, the politicians and the Obamas and the Faucis, if they didn't have anything to hide, then why are they so scared?
We'll get to Mike's comment. Then I got a question. Well, actually, before we do that, it kind of goes along with this topic. Miranda, have you ever heard of the Barron Trump collection? The book from like 1893. Do you know what that's about?
Yeah.
There's a book. Well, I think it's a collection of books. I'm not sure how many there are. There's like a couple of them, I think, by Ingersoll Lockwood. It's just interesting. This may mean absolutely nothing. I don't know, but it's eerie to think about. This book talks about a kid who's the son of what this book predicted back in 1893 to be the last president of the United States. Now, how would this? I mean, how would you know that the son of a president would be named Barron Trump? And that president would be the last president the country would ever have.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people want to fearmonger and say, well, it's because he's going to be a dictator. Or could it mean that the country goes through such a political revolution that the way we do things is just different? I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. And I don't know how much credence I take into this, but it's worth at least considering. So if you want to look up more about that, it's kind of on the conspiratorial side of a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely want to buy the book.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out for sure. But I saw that my mind kind of got blown a little bit. But if you want to go check that out, there you go. Then we'll get into Mike's comment here. Al Gore certified Bush's 2000 win, and it could be argued his loss hurt more with the Florida voting debacle. So, yeah, that's very possible.
Yeah, I can see that.
The Democrats basically forfeited the 1984 election to Reagan. Poor Walter Mondale only got one state, I believe. That is absolutely right. And that was Minnesota, who has not voted Republican like in 50 years.
Yeah, they probably never will.
Well, they did this time for sure. Obviously, you ran the my bad. You obviously ran the governor. Is it governor? Yeah, Tim Walz. Yeah, for the
yes,
Tampon Tim.
Tampon Tim for sure. And thank God we ain't got to watch him or his wife for the next 4 years. My God, she's so true.
His daughter, though, she's been putting out some videos that just unhinged is what these people are.
A lot of them, and we got a few of those coming up here.
I hope when Trump says he wants to open up these insane asylums, that's where these people end up living.
Now, this week, Donald Trump obviously is getting to work early, and he put out some videos about what he plans to do in his first days in office. Here's one where he says he's going to sign an executive order to ban federal funding, at least, for gender-affirming care on children.
Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this? I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. I will declare that any hospital or healthcare provider that participates in the chemical or physical mutilation of minor youth will no longer meet federal health and safety standards for Medicaid and Medicare and will be terminated from the program immediately. Furthermore, I will support the creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children. The Department of Justice will investigate Big Pharma and the big hospital networks to determine whether they have deliberately covered up horrific long-term side effects of sex transitions in order to get rich at the expense of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable. We will also investigate whether Big Pharma or others have illegally marketed hormones and puberty blockers, which are in no way licensed or approved for this use. My Department of Education will inform states and school districts that if any teacher or school official suggests to a child that they could be trapped in the wrong body, they will be faced with severe consequences, including potential civil rights violations for sex discrimination.
So, yeah. I for one, he didn't really say much there when it comes to adults. So I don't think he's against if you want to have a sex change as an adult, do what you want. Brandon, you're muted again.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, but when it comes to children in particular,
yes,
yeah, because here's the thing.
I'm for this.
Yes, I'm for this too. Because why is it that a child can't drink until they're 21, right? Or they can't smoke until they're 21.
18.
They can't drive until
No, it's 21.
Is it for smoking now?
18.
Yes, they raised it a couple years ago.
Oh, wow.
Trump actually raised it.
Oh, that is right. Yeah.
But they can, at 6 years old, decide, oh, I'm no longer a boy, or oh, I'm no longer a girl.
Yeah.
Well, see,
because
you gotta
go ahead, Miranda.
You gotta think of where they're getting these ideas from. Hollywood, there's quite a few celebrities that have trans children, and they have been forced to sacrifice their children to these people.
Yeah, it's sick.
And like Matt was saying earlier, the whole population control, their agenda is to get these people to not be able to reproduce. They're killing themselves off the minute they start this treatment.
Yeah.
It's got to be painful too.
Oh, it is.
It can't be an easy thing.
And there are so many adults now that are trying to detransition
and warn those who haven't yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brandon. That was Chris. He just wanted me to let you know he's sorry for whooping your ass.
Mike said, can I just say Matt in the dark this whole time makes me think he's in witness protection. Have pretty much not seen his face, certainly not complaining. Poor guy.
I'm trying to do live
Hey,
things.
he's a troll. He's living under a bridge. What can you say?
Wow.
That's right.
Anyway.
Speaking of which, this little guy came into the store today, and I'm pretty sure he was shorter than Matt.
Oh,
really?
My.
And I caught myself watching him get back in his vehicle because I didn't think he was going to be able to see over the steering wheel.
Oh, my.
But he was.
And that little phone book action going on there.
Oh, do you remember the pillow?
Oh man, you got a booster
The-
seat, brother?
A little booster seat. Brother. Got the little stilts on his feet. Little blocks. Anyway, moving on.
I'm sorry, Matt. You're
Welcome
vertically
here like
challenged.
these police.
The next two, the next two videos that Donald Trump released this week, I'm very interested in. This one is interesting because I have family who lives in Iowa, so I know I may be going. But this is Donald Trump announcing the 250th birthday party for the United States will be a year-long fair at the Iowa State Fairgrounds. And the left are already calling this fascist. Why? Because it's celebrating America? Get out here with this shit. Anyway, here's his proposal here.
3 years from now, the United States will celebrate the biggest and most important milestone in our country's history. 250 years of American independence. What a great country. We have to keep it that way. But that's why, as a nation, we should be preparing for a most spectacular birthday party. We want to make it the best of all time. Here is my plan to give America's founding in 1776 the incredible anniversary it truly deserves. On day one, I will convene a White House task force called Salute to America 250. It will be responsible for coordinating with state and local governments to ensure not just one day of celebration, but an entire year of festivities across the nation, starting on Memorial Day 2025 and continuing through July 4th, 2026. Second, I will work with all 50 governors, Republican and Democrat alike, to create the Great American State Fair, a unique one-year exhibition featuring pavilions from all 50 states. It'll be something. The Great American State Fair will showcase the glory of every state in the Union, promote pride in our history, and put forth innovative visions for America's future. My hope is that the amazing people of Iowa will work with my administration to open up the legendary Iowa State Fairgrounds to host the Great American State Fair and welcome millions and millions of visitors from around the world to the heartland of America for this special one-time festival. Together we will build it and they will come. Third, alongside the Great American State Fair, we will host major sporting contests for high school athletes. These are great athletes, wonderful athletes from fantastic high schools all around the country. These Patriot Games will allow young Americans from every state to show off the best of American skills, sportsmanship, and competitive spirit. Fourth, I will sign an executive order to bring back our National Garden of American Heroes, which we want to build very badly. Commission artists for the first 100 statues to populate this new statuary park honoring the greatest Americans of all time. Fifth, as president, I will invite the leaders and citizens of nations around the world to visit the United States in honor of our 250th anniversary. It's going to be great. America's tourist industry should get ready because we're going to have a lot of people coming. It will be a record year. And finally, and most importantly, I will ask America's great religious communities to pray for our nation and our people as we prepare for this momentous occasion. From the very beginning, America has been a country sustained and strengthened by prayer and by our communities of faith. As we chart a course toward the next 250 years, let us come together and rededicate ourselves as one nation under God. Thank you.
Sounds like such a horrible human being, does he not?
Damn.
What a fascist.
Yeah, what a horrible person that was.
Brother,
Hitler.
and I said this to Miranda too. I said, why can't America be like a big tourist spot? Sure.
Yeah.
There's states that are kind of big tourist spots. People come over here because, and like they say, every state is like its own different world. And, you know, that's why like most Americans don't go anywhere else on a vacation. They go around the United States because that's what it is. Like every state's a different world. You know what I'm saying?
What France
You can
is.
experience the snow and the mountains, the desert, the beaches,
Like, wow, what do we need? So, but the amount of revenue that would bring, the amount of opportunities that would for people starting it, like, look, I want
Especially in Iowa where there's not a lot to do sometimes.
Yeah, I want
mean,
my own food truck, but like if I'm able to take it to this yearly thing to showcase what I can do, imagine the opportunities that would open up to me.
Yeah.
for anybody in that same position. Like
And what if towns and cities were proud of what they made and could do
Yeah.
again? You know, like when I'm walking into the bank, the blocks are stamped with the town name. They don't make those here no more. Like that shop is that it's gone. But what if we had that again?
Yep.
I also liked how he announced was it like a statue?
Yeah,
They would put up
statue park.
statues.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
because
garden.
God knows that the left has been tearing down statues forever
Mm-hmm.
because they think they're racist because they had slaves. The thing was at the time everybody had them, so I'm for putting up statues to remember and honor the people for the good
The
that they
thing
did. in their
is, the Democrats have slaves now. They
lives. There's
just
other
call them different names.
well, there's other countries who legitimately have slaves still, but you don't see them up in arms about that. Period. Couple comments here. Kathy said, "Oh, go ahead."
Correct me if I'm wrong. It was Republicans that wanted to remove slavery.
Yeah, and the Democrats got pissed about it. They killed Abraham Lincoln over it, basically.
Yeah, and that John Wilkes Booth was a Democrat. Am I right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on. Mike
Okay,
said,
I'm just hold on. I'm just trying to make a point. Like,
yeah, you're good.
quit
Mike
your
said,
mission.
Eric, will you try to visit the Mall of America while in Iowa? There's an old joke where I screwed up and I thought the Mall of America was in Iowa. I have been there now. It is in Minnesota. I know that.
That's
but
wild, bro.
it's a great mall, by the way. Go check it out. It's one of the few malls in the world that people actually go to still. So, yeah.
How long of a drive is that to Minnesota?
From Iowa, it's about 3 hours. Well, the Mall of America.
Well, from here.
From
'Cause
here,
Iowa's what,
it's
9?
It's about it's probably a good 10 or 11, I'd say.
See, that's why I want one of them
It might be around
self-driving
9.
Teslas.
Something there.
Yeah, because I don't want to drive.
I hate driving that.
If you guys ever decide you want to go to this 250th birthday, I know a place we can stay. Or if it's too crowded for that, we can always get a hotel or something because I think that'd be a great.
Yeah, I don't know that she'd welcome all of us Trumpers.
Well, it'd be definitely crowded for sure. I'll say that.
Yeah.
He can barely handle Brandon,
wanna
let's
go.
be honest.
Brandon, but no. So I don't know. They probably welcome you guys.
Talk
no
about.
worries. Yeah,
Maybe we can rent an RV and go.
yeah,
Oh, dude, that'd be fun.
that'd be a lot of fun.
Oh hell no.
Yeah.
We'll take our
No, wait. As
take
long
our
as Matt-
show on
look,
tour.
long as Matt ain't with us, like I can't listen. I
That's a
like
long-
Matt.
Matt
I
can
love
drive
Leave him in Illinois.
I can't.
Dude,
Hold
I
on,
couldn't.
Matt
I
can
couldn't-
follow, and he can get a tent.
Yeah.
I
There you
couldn't
go.
ride in a bus with you 4 people. I swear.
Mike also had one other question for the panel here. What state have you not visited yet but want to someday? All of them,
Okay.
basically.
Yeah.
In my
I've been to
opinion.
California. I've been to Oklahoma. I've been to New York. Well, not New York. I've been to around New York.
Nevada.
I've been to Nevada. I'd like to go back.
Particularly in the
I've
bottom.
never been to Nevada, and I want to go to Nevada. But I also want to go to Texas
I'd like to go to Florida.
and see Florida sometime too.
You've never been
I
to
wanna
Florida,
go to-
Eric?
I've only been to Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, Iowa, Ohio,
Oh,
Kentucky,
Eric, you got
Tennessee. Well, I don't know if I've been to Tennessee, but Kentucky and then Washington D.C. I've been there.
Eric, you got to
About
go to
it.
Florida.
Everything in the area, basically.
Dude, just take like 4 weeks off. You use PTO like no vanilla. Dude, just
It's not because I have a choice.
Go down there and go to Florida.
Because I've been, knee issues. But anyway, Kathy said we need a bus. She'll drive, and Matt can sit in the back.
Hey, I ain't sitting
In
in
a
the back. I'm sitting in
baby
the front,
seat.
Kathy.
In a booster seat.
Had a booster seat.
Yeah.
I'll
So
put
you
it
can see
anyway.
out the window.
We also had some more things this week. Donald Trump, the sexist that he supposedly is, has made history with appointing the first ever White House chief of staff, who is a woman, Susie Wiles. But I thought he hated women.
Yeah.
Liberal women.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, like Rosie O'Donnell, which we're going to see her crying here in a little bit.
Can we
but,
skip to the part when I see
crying?
them crying?
Oh, well, we're about there. Mike said, my ex-wife's middle name is Nevada, and much like the state, has had many, many tourists. Who said that?
Wow.
Buddy, anyhow.
All right.
Wow.
And all of them lost the house.
Man, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Anyway, But this next 3 minutes that Donald Trump released this week is potentially the most important 3 minutes you're going to listen to in your lifetime. If what he does here, if what he says here, he actually does, it is going to change this country radically. So let's listen to what he has to say about eradicating the deep state.
Here's my plan to dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all. And corruption it is. First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively. Second, we will clean out all of the corrupt actors in our national security and intelligence apparatus, and there are plenty of them. The departments and agencies that have been weaponized will be completely overhauled so that faceless bureaucrats will never again be able to target and persecute conservatives, Christians, or the left's political enemies, which they're doing now at a level that nobody can believe even possible. Third, we will totally reform FISA courts, which are so corrupt that the judges seemingly do not care when they are lied to in warrant applications. So many judges have seen so many applications that they know were wrong, or at least they must have known. They do nothing about it. They're lied to. Fourth, to expose the hoaxes and abuses of power that have been tearing our country apart, we will establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption. And there are plenty of them.
Oh, yeah.
Fifth, we will launch a major crackdown on government leakers who collude with the fake news to deliberately weave false narratives and to subvert our government and our democracy. When possible, we will press criminal charges. Sixth, we will make every inspector general's office independent and physically separated from the departments they oversee so they do not become the protectors of the deep state. Seventh, I will ask Congress to establish an independent auditing system to continually monitor our intelligence agencies to ensure they are not spying on our citizens or running disinformation campaigns against the American people, or that they are not spying on someone's campaign like they spied on my campaign. Eighth, we will continue the effort launched by the Trump administration to move parts of the sprawling federal bureaucracy to new locations outside the Washington swamp. Just as I moved the Bureau of Land Management to Colorado, as many as 100,000 government positions could be moved out, and I mean immediately, of Washington to places filled with patriots who love America, and they really do love America. Ninth, I will work to ban federal bureaucrats from taking jobs at the companies they deal with and that they regulate. So they deal with these companies and they regulate these companies, and then they want to take jobs from these companies. It doesn't work that way. Such a public display cannot go on, and it's taking place all the time, like with Big Pharma. Finally, I will push a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on members of Congress. This is how I will shatter the deep state and restore government that is controlled by the people and for the people. Thank you very much.
So basically, he's going after the corruption and everything in our government, the establishment, and weeding out that nonsense. And the last one will ask for a term limits on all members of Congress. That will radically change this country in a very good way. So,
Brandon, Tracy Beans is toying with the idea of trying to run against Lindsey Graham. Do you know who Tracy is, Eric?
No.
She's a citizen journalist, basically. She worked for the Ron Paul campaign, though, when he was running.
I'm glad, Kathy.
We all do.
But she has a podcast, and she's a writer for Uncover DC, and she's been doing a lot of work. She really has, but it'd be pretty cool if she does. And that's what we need.
Lindsey Graham is one of those,
rhinos.
Yeah, been there for far too long.
Yep.
We're getting rid of Mitch McConnell finally, thank God.
Yes.
But those are Republicans that we want out. Okay.
I hope they get Rand Paul in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. But change must happen in order
I'm
for
more
this country
happy
to.
Schumer's gone.
Speaking of change, well, yeah, Schumer is no longer the Senate Majority Leader. That's for sure. He'll still be a part of the Senate because he still won his seat. But yeah, RFK Jr. is already hard at work as well. He says he's going to be getting rid of certain departments in the FDA.
You say clearing out the corruption in your terms. Would that mean clearing out the top level federal service workers that are currently at the FDA and the CDC?
In some categories, I would say.
What does that look like? Yeah.
In some categories of workers, there are entire departments, like the nutrition departments at FDA, that have to go. That are not doing their job. They're not protecting our kids. Why do we have Fruit Loops in this country that have 18 or 19 ingredients, and you go to Canada and it's got 2 or 3?
Would you eliminate any of the agencies?
To eliminate the agencies, as long as it requires congressional approval, I wouldn't be doing that. And I can get the corruption out of the agencies. This is what I've been doing for 40 years. I've sued all those agencies. I have a PhD in corporate corruption, and that's what I do. And once they're not corrupt, once Americans are getting good science and are allowed to make their own choices, they're going to get a lot healthier.
So yeah, this is positive stuff, guys.
And you know what's going to be fun to watch? People get healthier without even like really trying.
Yeah. It's just going to be in
And
the
then-
food you buy now.
Yeah, like
Or
the
not
red
your-
dye situation. You can vastly tell a difference when a child has dye and they don't. Think about the poor communities and what was the main drink of choice growing up as children.
Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I like to pick apart things when Eric has the screen frozen. Look at her ass getting whopped on the screen.
Always awesome too. Real quick,
Oh,
in
and then
case- go ahead.
one more thing about the food. Alex Jones years ago has a video about frogs and basically turning them transgender with, I'm almost positive it was fluoride.
Oh wow.
I should look that up, but that was a long time ago.
Well, it just makes you think too. Like I saw one person post this week about how everybody feels like they're in the wrong body and stuff now. How
Mhm.
much of that feeling due to the fact that they're ingesting and eating all of these different things that are in your food that
Exactly.
shouldn't be there? If you take out all these different chemicals, maybe you won't be feeling that chemical imbalance in your body no more.
I want to hear more about these transgender frogs.
And at that point, though, whose
Frogs
fault
can
is
be.
it? Like, are they these companies that are selling the bad shit here, but not in other countries? I don't think the answer is just, okay, we'll start giving you guys this stuff too. Why were you doing it to begin with?
Yeah.
I don't trust you now. Like Monsanto, that company needs to be eliminated. Nestle, Pepsi. I've heard that there's aborted fetal cells in Pepsi.
I would be surprised.
Okay, I'm a Pepsi drinker and I don't.
Well,
don't
we're
have issues
real
with
quick
that.
before we move on, Mike, in case he's still watching, Mike wanted to say goodnight. Well, gang, it's been fun. He needs to crash. Matt, good luck in your matchup in fantasy. Brandon, I'm sending you another big buddy hug. It's going to be okay. Black Machis, yo. Good night, all. Thanks for watching. Hey, man, you got through about 2 hours of political talk. I'm proud of you. So that's awesome.
Thanks,
hope
Mike.
you'll
Oh, my
come back and do
God.
that again because that was fun. All right, so let's
There
move on.
is some serious man crush.
Yeah, there
He
definitely
likes,
is.
And
he
Brandon.
likes the chocolate. What can I say?
Oh man,
Come on.
that's
But-
wild.
I mean,
Wild.
I was watching the show before I jumped on, and
Uh-huh.
just what you read, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's a man crush on here."
Like, and I like how he acts like
Hold
he's
on.
not married, or like I
Yeah,
might be
like-
mad. Nah.
Like, here's the thing though. I mean, look at me. I get it. You know what I'm saying?
I need another drink.
You know what I'm saying?
Warm beer's the greatest. I'll tell you that right now. Lord. I'm gonna move on from that, but anyway, we'll try. RF Kennedy Jr. Yeah, it's a weird way to say it, but anyway, he was talking with Tucker Carlson during the election, actually, and he said that Trump wants a revolution in a good way, and he's likely to get it. So here's what he had to say.
A lot of people think that Trump is a conventional politician because the last time around he initially appointed a lot of very conventional people of kind of lobbyists, etc.
Yeah.
People don't remember almost his entire cabinet was gone within 2 years.
Yes.
As he learned to govern, and he wants to do, he will do what he wants to do. And I spent 2 days with him recently, and he was saying things that were kind of shocking to me. He was saying things like that, the kind of change, the level of change that he wants to make in our government, I think is going to be unprecedented. And
shocking to you in a good way?
Yeah, in a good way. But just, that it's so impolitic. He's an impolitic guy. And I think he's a guy that does what he wants to do.
Well, can I give you an example?
He wants a revolution, and I think he's going to get one.
So yeah, that would be great. If he's just again speaking on this radical, I wouldn't say radical's a bad word because it's got this negative connotation to it. But
I was so stoked when
big
RFK,
change. That's a good thing. But yeah,
I was so stoked when RFK allied with Trump because I just knew that he would get shit done. That's what they do. That's what him and Elon's the same way. You get a coalition of people that get shit done.
And the crazy thing again, everybody needs to remember: Elon, Trump, Tulsi Gabbard, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., all former Democrats.
Yep. Are we noticing a trend?
Yeah, these are Democrat values of old, like your Bill Maher's would say they used to love, but for some reason can't get on board now.
And they're even bringing people like Ron Paul in, and oh my goodness, I loved him when he was running. That's who I wanted to win. Ron Paul wants to end the Fed and income tax.
Just think the one on the right is in his 70s, and the one on the left is a dude who thinks he's a woman, but is by the Secretary of Health and Trump's, obviously. So we're on the right track here. I'm killing to look like RF Kennedy Jr. now.
I was about to say the same shit.
Let alone in my 70s. Goodness gracious.
Damn, dead ass. Like, what am I doing with my life, man?
I know. We got to get on it, man. On the ball for sure.
Is that one on the left? Is that a man or a woman?
That's a man who thinks he's a woman.
Okay, well, I'm just confused.
So
I'm sorry for all you out there who are clutching your pearls right now, but that's the truth of the matter. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that here on this channel. We now have celebrities who have promised to leave if Donald Trump got elected. Right. So George Clooney, Jennifer Lopez, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Bad Bunny, Ricky Martin, Barbara Streisand, Leonardo DiCaprio, Eminem, Sarah Jessica Parker, Steven Spielberg, Whoopi Goldberg, Rosie O'Donnell, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jane Fonda, Ben Stiller, Matt Damon, Jennifer Aniston, Robert De Niro, he's a moron, Tom Hanks, Miley Cyrus, Bette Midler, Bruce Springsteen, Lady Gaga, Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, LeBron or LaDouche James, Billie Eilish, Stephen King, Julia Roberts, Meryl Streep, and Kevin Spacey. Better be packing your bags because you promised you'd leave, right? But they never do.
Bye.
Yeah. By the way, I'd also like to have an honorable mention here, and somebody needs to do a wellness check on George Takei, Mark Hamill, and I'm still waiting on Rob Reiner to set himself on fire like he promised if Trump won too, which is not going to happen. But Liberal Airlines are now taking reservations to get out of the country, and as of this podcast, Canada has yet to see any celebrities, so. You might want to get on.
The only one I did hear of fleeing was Obama, and that's not confirmed. But
that may be for whole other reasons, but he may be. And all those people I just listed, most likely are on the Epstein Island list or the Diddy list. So they all may be going down if they don't flee the country. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes.
Now I know a certain man in Martinsville right now that he's a very happy man. And Brandon, you know which man I'm talking about.
No, who? Oh,
I know a certain man in Martinsville that is smiling right now, and in whatever cozy comfort chair he's in right now, retired.
Yeah. All I can say is bye, hoser. Anyway, get on out of here.
We all know that they are not going to leave because they said that the first time he got elected.
Yeah.
No.
And nobody left.
They would. It might.
Their meal tickets here.
Yeah. Exactly.
I do want to know what's going to happen with Taylor Swift, though.
Yeah. Considering we know
she's no longer going to be platinum. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, by the way, for those of you who don't think Donald Trump is watching everything and is actually in mental decline, here's a video showing how he talks directly to the American people via his social media accounts. It's fascinating to watch. This is what separates him from normal politicians. As Kathy mentioned earlier, he's transparent, and the American people know he's the real deal. Here's him in the process of tweeting while he's watching things that are going on in the world.
Thank you. 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 Thank you.
Oh my God. Is she crazy?
Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Oh, too many. Thank you.
It's about 20.
I've been listening 35.
To California with an unshakable dream to be the scientist.
How many people are watching?
Can we tell how many, Dan? How many people are watching?
She's talking about how great San Francisco was before she destroyed it. A lot of talk about childhood. We've got to get to the border, inflation, and crime. Take Cynthia's out. The things of which she complains. The things of which she complains.
In many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, that's it. It's great, right? These prosecutions were all started by her and Biden against their political opponents. Me. Get that out right away. She paid and raised bail. She paid bail to get the violent rioters in Minnesota out of jail. I love it. Put it in there. Put it right in with the stuff, right?
With that hook,
Yeah. But you could do it either that or separate.
Say more lies, lying about the Project 2025.
Oh, lying against Project 25, which she knows, and so do all Democrats, that I have nothing, that I have absolutely nothing to do with.
She says we all know that Trump term.
Yeah, so the Democrats are like saying, well, you know, his ground game wasn't very good. How could he have won? Because he's using technology that we have now. This is the new ground game.
He should have put that in a campaign ad.
Well, I mean, this was released this week, I think.
Yeah, it pretty much was.
Why was it released this way? That was beautiful.
Why would you want to give away your tactic?
Yeah.
No,
he doesn't want
now,
to. Hold on. Now she has a team like that. They just aren't as good.
Right. Yeah, that's for sure.
No, hold up a minute.
Yeah.
He just sat there. He just sat there and watched her speech and goes, "Man, isn't that great?" That is
because he knows it's BS.
The whole thing.
Yeah,
man,
just laughing at it because it's just ridiculous. So yeah, this man is not in mental decline. This man knows what he's doing. They all know what they're doing. So on top of all that, 3 weeks ago, now we're going to get into some of the meltdowns. We're going to try to speed this up a little bit.
No, don't. Let's take this time.
3 weeks. 3 weeks ago, Mark Halperin went on Tucker Carlson's show and predicted massive mental health crisis if Donald Trump won the election. He pretty much nailed that prediction. Here he is talking about that to Tucker Carlson.
Let's say Trump wins 3 weeks from today. What happens? The Democratic Party just, I mean, as you said, a lot of Democrats, maybe the majority, believe that Trump becoming president again is the worst thing that ever could happen. So how do they respond to that?
I say this not flippantly. I think it will be the cause of the greatest mental health crisis in the history of the country. I think tens of millions of people will question their connection to the nation, their connection to other human beings, their connection to their vision of what their future for them and their children could be like. And I think that will be require an enormous amount of access to mental health professionals. I think it'll lead to trauma in the workplace. I think there'll be some degree of.
Are you being
serious? 100% serious. 100% serious. I think there'll be alcoholism. There'll be broken marriages. There'll be yeah. They think he's the worst person possible to be president, and having won by the hand of Jim Comey and Fluke in 2016, and then performed in office for 4 years and denied who won the election last time. And January 6th, the fact that under a fair election, America chose by the rules pre-agreed to Donald Trump again, I think it will cause the biggest mental health crisis in the history of America.
Yeah. So we have proof of that already 3 days after the election. Let's just run through some compilations and a few of the favorites that I found that I wanted to pull here. Here are all the liberals on TikTok and X, all of them losing their marbles that Hitler got elected democratically.
How did we get here? How did we get here? What in the Alice in Wonderland nightmares is going on right now? All I can say is how fucking dare you?
Language.
If you voted for that man, if you voted for anybody other than Kamala, and you live in one of the states that it was, close, or if you didn't vote, fuck you.
What the hell? You're in a fetal position.
Go Kamala.
That is a
Go
grown-ass
Kamala.
woman.
I chose family. I chose women. I chose America. I love you. How the fuck is this still happening? All I've ever known politically is hatred.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm done with you and your mother and your sister. I'm just done with all of this.
I'm sorry to all my friends who are Trump supporters. You don't understand how scared of this man I am. If this guy does end up winning again, all of the people who voted for him will be like happy and they'll just be celebrating. And everyone else, everyone who feels threatened by him is fucking scared. Like we're scared for our lives. We're scared for our friends. How dare you put this man into office for another 4 years? Knowing damn well what it means for our country, what it means for us. To know that there is that much ignorance and that much hate in this country, it's so terrifying.
Wow.
It's so terrifying.
I'm shocked.
Fuck, are we back in this same situation again? Who the fuck is voting for him? Genuinely.
This guy.
Fuck you. I don't want to hear about how shitty your life gets under his policies.
It won't.
Oh, my life is going to get real shitty.
Live with that decision. Sit with it.
I'm good.
Let it make you
I will.
uncomfortable.
I plan to.
Fuck you.
Really? Yeah, that's kiss your boyfriend with that mouth.
Okay, to all those people, I think they'll survive. Okay,
Yeah.
proceed.
So mad.
Here's some more.
So, now that the orange turd has won, we should now rename America hell, because it is going to be hell on earth. They strip everyone's rights away that is no straight white cis man. So buckle up. Hope you freaking Republicans are happy. I'm out of here.
Okay, great. Awesome. Happy for you. Here's one who literally wants Trump supporters to kill themselves.
I'm done with bullshit. I'm done. If you voted for Trump, I think you're a fucking loser. I think you're stupid. I think you're a moron. I think you're evil. I think that you deserve to die by my hands. More specifically, by the rake that's in my hand that I'm using as a bludgeon on your fucking skull. You fucking loser. I'm better than you. You're a horrible person. You don't deserve air. Fucking kill yourself before I get to you. Do it. Kill yourself right now.
Hello,
Reply.
hello, FBI. You might want to check on that one. Just saying.
But
Here,
some level of psychosis there.
Here's
Okay.
Here's one of my favorites. This person said they're going to leave the country, but look where they said they're going to go.
Okay, so since Trump won the election, we're cooked. Yup. I'm gonna be leaving the U.S. and I'm gonna be moving to Hawaii. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll update you guys.
Okay. It won't go any better than where you are, you dumbass.
Fun fact: didn't Hawaii vote red?
No, Hawaii voted blue, despite Maui burning to the ground. Again, another state that does not require voter ID.
I don't understand that. I don't understand how Hawaii went blue. But anyways, proceed.
Here's another one who wants a law passed for anyone who voted for that orange piece of S, her words, not mine, to wear their Trump hat 24/7.
I say we pass a law that requires anyone who voted for that orange piece of shit to wear their Trump hat 24/7.
Okay.
Because conservatives are dangerous.
Yes, we are.
For anyone who isn't white, Christian, or male.
I'm all of those.
Completely dangerous.
Yeah, Brandon sure is.
Yeah, Brandon's a white Christian.
Like dynamite waiting to go off in your hand.
So correct me if I'm wrong.
I am like dynamite, ready to go off in your hand.
This woman is wanting a law passed so anyone who voted for Trump has to wear their Trump gear 24/7, almost as a warning sign to liberals.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Hitler like brand people so you knew who were Jews and who weren't?
Yeah, but also any Trump supporter was already doing that before they voted.
Yeah, just look for the American flag waving in your front yard. It's probably a Trump supporter.
Yeah, my Trump flag's still out. The Harris Walt sign, it's down.
She needs to put her mask back on.
That shit came down expeditiously.
Yeah. This particular woman did not get the joke. Apparently, Matt Walsh, who's a conservative pundit out there, he made a joke about how, now that Trump's elected, now we can admit that Project 2025 was actually a real thing, and Trump's going to implement it. It was a joke. And then Steve Bannon, I think, even said the same thing after Matt Walsh did. Well, this woman took that completely literal and thinks that now Trump is and his people are now admitting that Project 2025 is real.
So it looks like all the white women who voted for Trump are about to find out what Serena Joy went through when they cut off her little finger in The Handmaid's Tale. Because Trump's buddies are all over social media saying, hey, guess what? We are going to enact Project 2025, and Trump has just promised us all spots in his administration. Joke's on you. So have fun with that one, ladies, because we told you so. And when you are bleeding out in an emergency room, when they take away your right to vote, all of these things that are about to happen to you, they're not going to ask you who you voted for. They're not going to ask you what you thought about Project 2025. And
she's delusional. I mean, sorry. I mean,
they're not going to take away rights to vote.
No, none of your rights have been taken away.
Bullshit. I'm so
Even the abortion,
sick and tired of hearing that rhetoric.
Even the abortion thing, it was not a right. Look it up. It's not a right under the Constitution. Even Ruth Bader Ginsburg said when she was alive in the Supreme Court that it was likely going to get overturned because she knew it wasn't constitutional. It wasn't something that's going to be federalized. You know what I'm saying? Let's go back to the states. We also got this one I thought was hilarious too.
If you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands. If you've lost faith in humanity, and this is your villain origin story, if you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands.
Broke Brandon. So yeah, great usage of the music.
I like that she lost faith in humanity.
Yeah. This one here, it's like, what are you doing as a parent? You were literally just scaring the hell out of your children. This woman
brainwashing them.
Yeah, brainwashing them too.
All these people have been brainwashed.
Dude, this shit pissed me off when I seen it.
Oh yeah, pulling her kids into the kitchen or wherever to tell them that Trump won, and listen to their scared, terrified voices when she says it.
Harris did not win.
Who won?
Trump.
Oh my God.
So
One's hyperventilating.
So today may look a little different at school. Okay, there are probably going to be friends who have questions.
So she goes on to try to make them feel better that school will be okay. But again, why are you talking to your kids who sound like they're less than 7 or 8 years old about politics at all?
Some people don't deserve to be parents.
No,
y'all made that man out to be the fucking boogeyman. Just terrible. Those kids, like, that's real fear, and that's all shit you import.
You know,
that's
when I come home
fucking
from work
insane.
Tuesday, Jackson come running outside, said hi, and he goes, "Trump won." And I said, yes, he did. We were happy. Yay.
Yeah.
Like,
to Jackson at his age, man, that's like, man, it's like
smart kid. Very
yeah.
smart kid.
He's just like, whatever.
We got, as Miranda mentioned earlier, this is one of many. This is the only one I'm going to pull because we'd be here all night with all of them. But this woman here is one of many women who say they're going to go on a sex strike with men for the next 4 years to punish them for voting for Donald Trump.
All I have to say is good luck getting laid. Especially in Florida, because me and my girlies are participating in the 4B movement. That's my next plan, and I'm dead fucking serious. All I have to say.
So yeah, I mean, again, Donald Trump.
Good luck with that.
To all the feminists,
It's not gonna happen.
To all the
Yeah, good
to all
luck
the
with it.
feminists pledging to withhold sex in protest of Trump's election, if you actually possess that level of discipline, abortion wouldn't have been your number one issue to begin with.
Exactly.
So here's a man talking about how Donald Trump. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say they're shaving their heads and letting themselves go is the plan too. So
that'll work for them.
It
too.
could work. Like,
yeah,
they're
Yeah.
not gonna.
I don't know about you too. No offense to some of the liberal women out there. They're not necessarily my type. Number two,
Yeah.
once I start to know how you think, you're definitely not going to be my type because I can't deal with you. This guy talks about how Donald Trump is liberal birth control.
I think it's so ironic how liberal women and women who voted for Kamala are saying that for the next 4 years, they're not going to sleep with another man. I find it so ironic because at least then you won't need an abortion. Took you Donald Trump to get in office for you to stop being a whore. See, it's already starting to change for the better.
Exactly. I mean, like, I mean, come on, guys. I mean,
hey yo,
and of course, this guy. This is a joke. This isn't a real thing. But if you can't tell, he's talking about how he's afraid that his grandmother's going to get taken and deported.
Donald Trump won, and I am very, very afraid that he might deport my mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law, my bad.
She entered illegally to the country, and she lives in a street 4, number 47, apartment D, New York. I am very, very concerned. That's right behind the green apartment. I have nothing bad happened to her.
This is obviously a joke. But anyways,
the gate's always open.
The street 4, number 47, apartment.
Yeah, he's just begging for them to take her. I mean,
now this guy I seen he has another one that I seen. I showed Aaron this video when we listened to it, and I told Miranda about it too. Anyway, he says, my brother, I was talking to my brother the other day, and he said, "Are you gonna go vote?" And I said, "Yeah." But I was like, "Who are you gonna vote for?" He said, "Kamala." He's like, "Oh, okay, go do your thing." He goes, about an hour later, I get a phone call. It's my brother. He goes, "You're never gonna believe what fucking happened to me." He goes, "What?" He says, "I'm standing in line to vote, and this dude in a Mario suit punched me in the face." And then he comes in with the mug, so he goes, and I'll do it again, you son of a bitch, if you vote for her.
That's a good one. Yeah, I'd like to. You may have to find out and send that one to me. That'd be funny.
Yeah,
this guy is showing what it's like to live next door to left-wing lunatics.
Hope your day gets better. Positive energy.
So yeah, she wasn't having it. But yeah, Donald Trump has them all triggered for sure. So yeah, but it gets worse, and this is going to take a bit of a serious turn, but I'm going to bring it back. So hang in there. Apparently, indoctrination centers. I'm sorry. I mean universities. Harvard, Princeton, Ohio, Columbia, Penn, and many more across the country have actually canceled classes the day following the election for these snowflakes, so they could actually go to what they're calling post-election wellness spaces because it's too traumatizing, I guess. We are far too weak-minded in this country. So, and now obviously we're having fun here and we're gloating a little bit, obviously.
Don't do this.
Well, no. It's an important point, but I'm gonna take it somewhere. Listen to me. As funny as all this is, take this next part with a huge grain of salt. Apparently, there was a report on Reddit that one person obviously killed herself last night due to the election results. Obviously, they claimed that they were struggling with mental health issues before, strong advocate for LGBTQ and liberal causes.
And the people responsible for that are the people pushing
the
their
Democrats.
stupid shit.
Exactly,
Yeah.
which is my point. There's also reports apparently going around that 2,038 suicides have been reported today after Donald Trump's election. Now, again, take this as a grain of salt. I don't know if these numbers are completely accurate. And not to mention, I think there's like 1,000 suicides or so a day anyway. It's not like, but at the same time, I'm not saying it's good in any regard whatsoever. And that is serious. But we need to be aware many are terrified. But that's because they've fallen for the lies, as you just pointed out.
Donald Trump is not what liberals say Donald Trump is.
Well, and that's why this is dangerous to lie during these campaigns. Both sides at times, but mostly Democrats, especially in this cycle, act like they can say mean and terrible things to and about their opponents because it's a debate or a campaign. We literally had Kamala Harris, call Joe Biden a racist before she became his VP, and she said, "Well, it was a debate, so it was okay." No, that doesn't mean it's okay. I mean, but this has deep, dire consequences for those who believe this rhetoric. And Dems are far more guilty of this. And if you think Donald Trump is more guilty, then I'm sorry, you fell for these lies too. Go listen to Donald Trump in full and complete context. Trump and Democrats are not the same. Now, if these stories of suicides are true, Democrats have blood on their hands for telling these people that Trump was Hitler.
Yeah.
Again, if true, it's sad, and my heart goes out to all of you who fell for these lies.
Yes.
Okay, this is important, but
killing yourself over an election is ridiculous.
But they're terrified because they've been fed this lie that he's going to kill people or deport legal citizens or whatever it may be.
That's not how life works.
No, it's not what's going to happen anyway.
No.
That being said, many are saying that the right and conservatives should not gloat, and I say nay. That's copious amounts of what I'd call bull crap.
That's great.
I mean,
Kathy voted.
Yeah, well, of course she did.
She said in her comments she voted.
I know.
Yeah, I voted too.
Yeah, we all voted. Thank you, Kathy, for your vote, by the way. So yeah, let's see.
Hey, Kathy, have a good night.
Yeah.
Vote for podcast of the year. All right.
That'd be great. The majority of these people on the left in these videos who are crying right now don't give an F about any of us. We literally just sat and watched some of them call for our deaths. I have no sympathy for them, and I especially don't have sympathy for these celebrities who damn sure couldn't give an F about the middle class. Top of the list here for celebrities now bitching. Rosie O'Donnell, who Donald Trump, is famous for bad-mouthing. Here she is talking about what happened at the election.
For yourself, call your friends, check on them. And get ready, because we're in for one hell of a ride. With him at the helm.
Man, she's nuts.
Community guardrails.
Her daughter just got busted for drugs.
Okay.
She's so.
She looks like she's on them.
Yeah.
God bless America, people. That's all I can say. We're gonna need it.
First of all, she said they're with having immunity or which by the way, every president has always had. They just reiterated it in the Supreme Court.
What's going on with
nothing new.
With the part in
So-
her hair, man, she needs to really get that checked
And
out.
how about
Here's my favorite part.
we get rid of the Electoral College?
Oh, God, that's great.
Rosie, newsflash, sweetheart. He won the popular vote too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't have did a damn bit of good here.
No,
But it's the Democrat talking point. Every time they lose the election, it's because the Electoral College, he didn't win the popular vote.
Yeah.
He did this time.
No.
It's just they don't know what they're talking about.
They're not going to get rid of the Electoral College anyway, so proceed.
Here's Kathy Griffin, who's famously known for hanging or holding a severed head of Donald Trump, complaining too.
I don't think that our beloved country, America, knows what it's in for with a fascistic society and dictator.
That's it. There we go. Calling us fascist
I'm not
again.
being hyperbolic. I'm not being dramatic.
Yes, you are.
That's all definitely what she's
have said this on tapes before, but I am shocked and crushed at how many people I personally know did
How
not
old is this woman?
or felt like there was no difference between the candidates or
That's
just were too
90.
self-involved to learn anything about it. And that makes me sad.
Well, that's so sad for you.
I figured it out. She's that woman with Crunk in like Emperor's New Groove.
By the way, this is her.
that's awesome.
So I have
Yeah.
no sympathy for you. I don't. You deserve every bit of this.
That image is disturbing.
Next up we have Jimmy Kimmel. This insufferable, as this
Oh,
person
I
put
love
it,
this one.
is crying because his name is about to be revealed on the Diddy or Epstein list. Here he is talking about how it was. Look at this sad cry face right here. By the way, legit liberal tears. Here he is talking about it's just a dark day for America.
Let's be honest, it was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go.
Illegal.
For healthcare, for our climate, for science, for journalism, for justice, for free speech. It was a terrible night for poor people, for the middle class, for seniors who rely on Social Security, for our allies in Ukraine, for NATO, for the truth and democracy and decency. And it was a terrible night for everyone who voted against him. And guess what? It was a bad night for everyone who voted for him, too. You just don't realize it yet.
Yeah, okay. We know exactly. It's like, again, you act like he wasn't president for 4 years already. We know exactly what we're getting.
I'm trying to figure out who the people are clapping because they damn sure didn't show up for the polls because that's
No, apparently not. America is just not buying this BS anymore.
Not real people clapping.
Yeah, they're probably like,
That's what I
audio
thought.
sound.
I was curious. I don't watch this show because it's bullshit anyway. But proceed.
It wasn't a terrible night for women, children, immigrants, climate, or any of that. It's all BS. Jimmy is just scared he may be going to jail at this point. So sorry. Have fun, buddy.
Probably is because he's on the Diddy list. All right,
yeah.
Proceed.
At the end of the day, Democrats did this to themselves. All these people we just watched did it to themselves. They are the party of hate, division, racism, and intolerance, despite the fact that they claim to be against all those things. And they finally pushed the silent majority too far, like a child throwing temper tantrums when they don't get their way, just like
Here we
this.
go.
I'm sorry. No.
Oh.
Why? Why? Do you really hate me that bad?
Now, Brandon and Miranda, you got kids. Aaron, you got kids. What would you do if your 2-year-old or 3-year-old threw this temper tantrum?
Beating your ass.
That's a grown adult woman. This is mental illness.
I just wanted to.
This is what happens when you don't parent your kids.
Exactly. It turned out to be this.
I'm willing to bet that some of the people that are freaking out have never had any responsibility. They never had any accountability when they were growing up. They probably didn't do chores or any of that. They had everything handed to them. And anytime they freaked out, their parents gave them whatever.
Yeah. And now they think that they freak out, they'll get what they want now.
I really do hate her that much.
Now, Let's see here.
That
So
out
to
there.
them,
That's
all
not
these
nice,
people,
Matt.
yeah.
You still owe me an apology.
I told you, you are not getting an apology for your own bad behavior.
Yeah.
What is happening?
It's a
I
long
don't
story.
know.
It's a long story.
So yes, to them, like I said, I have sympathy for those who legitimately are terrified, but a part of that is because you believed it. I mean, you did. But to those who just threw the temper tantrum, wants us to die, calls us racist, fascist, dictators, Nazis, all this stuff, to them, I agree with this guy wholeheartedly, 100%.
Donald Trump has won, and honestly, I would usually say be humble, but fuck that shit. We've been called garbage. We've been called fascist. We've been called racist. We've literally been called subhuman pieces of shit, and it's fucking done. He won the popular vote. He won the Electoral College. We won the Senate. We won the House. And that big fucking red mirage everybody was talking about, turns out it was a fucking wave. With all the extra money I'm going to have under a Trump administration, I think I'm going to go buy a kayak so I can go up this fucking river of liberal tears. There are straight up women that are filing for divorce from their husbands this morning, that are leaving their boyfriends over this fucking election. That's derangement. I saw another video of a lady saying, "Oh, what do I do now? What do I do now? You guys have been scaring me about Project 2025 for the last year." No, nobody's been scaring you. You've been brainwashed.
Bingo.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, is a good fucking day. It is a good fucking day, and I feel good. I know there's a lot of people that
That's
don't.
how I felt on Wednesday.
Honestly, fuck them. And now that we're going to have 4 beautiful years of prosperity, now what we need to focus on is JD Vance 2028.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, thoughts on this before I pull up the last slide for the evening. So we got a little bit more, but we're almost done. So, what's up?
Aaron owes me an apology.
Maybe, I don't know if you want to explain what's going on or not.
What happened?
I cut in front of Aaron, and me went in the same direction, but then Aaron blamed me totally. So
I think that was in front of my table. I remember hearing part of that conversation.
Yes, so therefore I was faulted, and Aaron blames me. But yeah, I still think Aaron owes me an apology.
What did we learn, Matt?
Be nice.
One hand and sit in the other and see which one fills up faster.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but the media and Democrat politicians will just never get it. The View, those lovely hens have been melting down all week, and it's glorious.
Are you gonna play the one?
I don't know. Maybe
about me getting deported.
Oh, this is great.
Oh, we did that last week.
We
already did that one. But here we have Sonny Hostin blaming America for voting for a guy like Donald Trump. How could that possibly have happened?
How could it happen?
All I can deduce is that it's the messaging. It didn't get through to people. They're not paying attention. That's all. Yeah, because the Democrats have always been for the working people.
Exactly. And the Republicans
The
message of the Democrats sounded elitist. You don't have value.
Oh, my bad. I didn't start that in the right spot.
I disagree.
Apologize.
All right. I think that I'd like to reframe the conversation. I think Bernie Sanders is wrong. I think the more relevant question actually is what is wrong with America? I think what is wrong with our country that the Republican Party would choose as a candidate and support a candidate who is an insurrectionist, who is an election denier, who is someone who is twice impeached, 34-time convicted felon, someone who has been accused of alleged sexual misconduct by 26 women, found liable for sexual abuse. What is wrong with this country that they would choose a message of divisiveness, of xenophobia, of racism, of misogyny over a message of inclusiveness, a message for the people, by the people, of the people?
So according to Sonny Hostin, The View and the women on that show are not crazy. America is. So you know why America voted for Donald Trump, Sonny?
She's
America
not wrong.
Doesn't buy your BS.
Yeah.
Well, she's not wrong.
Convictions, the
America is
two
crazy.
sham impeachments. I mean, everything she listed is stuff that can be provably, debunked one the other way than what she's saying it.
Look at all those big blue cities. He's not wrong. America is crazy.
I just
The big
want to
blue
say
parts are crazy.
that my 2-time impeached president and 34 count convicted president made it so I had a more livable wage than the inclusive presidency that she had.
So, and Aaron's absolutely right. It's either America doesn't buy the BS, which is the way I am, or America doesn't care because they're hurting so bad and they just want help.
I agree with what Aaron said.
Either way. This also, sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
The radical inclusiveness that they're talking about isn't helping the country.
No.
It's making it worse. We're seeing it like even in our own job. How like inclusiveness is becoming like the standard to the point that
it's not inclusive.
You can't be corrected for doing something wrong because you're supposed to be the inclusive part.
Yeah. So then it becomes non-inclusive. You know, because it becomes you're the bad person now.
Yep.
And the hardworking people who are not the stereotypical inclusive, what you would think to be inclusive, are the ones that are being shit on, but they're the hardworking people.
Yep.
This goes on for a couple more seconds where Joey Behar is trying to say the Democrat Party are the party of the middle and working class. Hold me while I die laughing.
That is what the problem is. It's the Republican Party. But can I say something before we can do a second? The Democrats are the ones. They are the party that cares for the blue collar.
Exactly.
The Democrats are the ones who put in Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Union Protection.
How long ago did they put those in, by the way? That Democrat Party is not today's Democrat Party. It's not.
And they know that.
Yeah. They say they care about the working people, but the Democrat policies hurt working class people. Democrats are for the elites, not the working class now. They haven't been for the working class for years. Joy Behar would know that if she actually stopped and listened to what the average American had to say.
Listen, you know what the Met Gala is, right? Everybody knows what the Met Gala is, right?
Yeah.
It's very expensive to get in there. AOC, the one year she went. You have to pay to get in there, first of all. She wore a dress that said tax the rich or something.
Yeah, tax the rich.
I said to Aaron, because we had this conversation, yeah, of course she would wear it. It's one of those, you know how like people nowadays wear shirts, like, okay, perfect example, like this Looney Tunes shirt. Somebody in their 20s now will walk around in this shirt because it's a trendy shirt. Never saw the fucking Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's that haha, yeah, look what I'm wearing. But yet she paid all this money to get there in the first fucking place. But she's the one bitching about how the Republicans are not for the middle class, and you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, the Democrats like to say, well, Trump and his buddies in the 1%. Hate to break it to you, most of the rich billionaires donated to Kamala Harris, not Donald Trump.
I've never seen a Republican that's not for the middle class. You name one. I'm sorry, you guys name one.
Well, there's probably some establishments who weren't.
They might have got all those.
I said Republican presidents.
Well, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at some of their policies and stuff, but even like guys like George W. Bush now, I wouldn't consider a true Republican anymore because again, he's establishment. At the time he was president, I liked him, but now that I know that he's buttering up with Obama and stuff, I don't want anything to do with him.
I'm not talking about Rhino Republicans. I'm not talking about.
You mean like true conservatives?
I'm talking about true blue collar conservatives,
Mm-hmm.
which is growing in the government, but it was been few and far between as for a while.
And that's just scary Democrats.
You're right, Eric. The Democratic Party got funded by a lot of billionaires, but Trump became friends with the fucking billionaire. So
Elon.
I would just like to see any of the ladies on The View try to survive on an income that we have to try to survive on.
Yeah, they're not buying milk. They're not buying eggs. They're not buying butter.
Yeah, they don't do that. They probably have assistants to do that.
Yes.
Guaranteed.
Food
AOC
comes
too.
from the grocery store, not from farms.
Yeah. But apparently, Kamala lost due to misogyny and racism. Here's the older millennial talking about The View being ignorant about the fact it had nothing to do with that.
These women on The View are just invincibly ignorant. They are just fully wed to living in the fucking dark. Or at least some of them are. Listen to this.
We talk a lot about these different demographics and these assumptions of where they're going to go. Latinos in Texas, a district that's 97% Latino, went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the border. The border crisis is on their doorstep. And they were begging people to care about it for years. We need to take some lessons.
That's what that was.
Did you see how she just blew off the entire reasoning? She tried to tell her it's because they're on the border, because they actually are negatively affected by the illegal immigration that's going on, because they're the ones that are dealing with this, not these people in Washington and New York and California on these shows. And then the smug look of not giving a shit about the reality. And she just was like, no, it's misogyny and sexism, crossed her arms and just smugly stared at the camera. Do you legitimately think that Latinos voted with Trump 75% in a border town because of misogyny and sexism? Do you know how detached from reality you have to be that way? I genuinely fear that the liberals in this country will learn nothing from this electoral ass whooping.
Oh, no, definitely not. They've already
they didn't learn anything. They didn't learn a damn thing.
They've already gone back to doubling down on the lies days later. And here they are the night of and around the election, again, screaming sexism, misogyny, racism. That's got to be it.
Why didn't this work? We're still unpacking what exactly happened.
Some of this is pure racism and misogyny.
White supremacist ideology.
Uneducated white women. Nostalgia for a past that didn't exist.
The headwinds of the economy.
Misinformation.
The patriarchy.
The American people have given up on democracy.
Latinos in Texas, a district that's 97% Latino, went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
How much of this is just old-fashioned sexism? How much of this is old-fashioned misogyny?
It's misogyny from black men. Not enough people in this country yet believe in the full equality of women.
Keep talking like this, media, and you'll keep losing.
No, but what they're doing is fueling what we just watched those rage videos about.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. If they keep
feeding this shit and it's like these are all buzzwords, trigger words. It's all the same fucking thing. Like, I cannot. Fuck, dude. You remember the conversation we had about the voice that like everybody should have in their fucking head? There's no fucking way that voice in your head isn't screaming at you that none of this is real.
Yeah.
I just let me tell you something. If they don't get it now, then they ain't
never
never
will.
going to get it ever again.
This is why nobody watches the mainstream media anymore. That's
God
why
damn.
X and Rumble and YouTube, people are the news, and we'll talk about Elon Musk in just a second.
And you know what? That older millennial guy that you guys show on here a lot, which I really like him.
Yeah.
You know,
Straight to the
he's
point.
right. They are so detached from reality.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, a lot of them are teachers.
Most of them are, Miranda.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that's what's scary about it, because they're just
And
feeling
that's who's teaching children.
for now
Education.
until Trump dismantles the Department of Education. So let's hope that happens.
Yeah.
This is exactly why Ashley and I have decided to homeschool.
Yeah,
I mean,
and-
I was for homeschooling all the time. Ashley was on the fence, but with everything that's come out recently about what's going on in the school systems, you know, she's like, yeah, we are definitely homeschooling.
It's their plan to start indoctrinating them young all the way through college, and by the time they get old, they'll be left-wing Democrats who are brainwashed. That's the goal.
My brother swings left sometimes.
You know, there's a reason why, you know, all the crazy protests and stuff come from colleges.
Now, to be fair, college students and younger people voted en masse for Trump this time. So I think there is an electorate of young people who are coming up who are more based and more conservative than they used to be. Partially because the left-wing people who have had abortions and stuff like that, they're not having kids. So the younger kids who are coming up are conservatives because their parents are raising them properly. So hopefully that's a good thing moving forward, but we'll have to wait and see. But as for the media, the truth of the matter is racism and misogyny is not the problem they think it is. As Morgan Freeman once said, it's only an issue at all because the media won't stop talking about it. It's not an issue in everyday life. What they claim to fight for is already the norm in this country. But they know that. They're just trying to divide people. But I don't know about you. everyday life, we don't have racism issues or sexism issues. It's very few and far between, if it is at all.
Let me tell you something. I have issues with Brandon all the time. I work with him.
You're just trolling now.
Dude, what the fuck?
Just stop.
Okay, I really am. Just
but what these people in the media and the Democrats don't understand, the majority of this country probably would not be against a woman or a woman of color as president. Just not these two, Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris.
Man, look at those two.
These two are the best that you guys have. I mean, one's a psychopath who murders people who get in her way, and the other is so dumb, she'd probably try to put her bag of M&M candies in alphabetical order.
And she puts people in prison for no reason.
Hold on. How long was you holding on to that one?
Yeah, it's been a minute. But anyway, that'd be a good time to drop it. You know what is going to be the ultimate irony, though? I'm predicting this right now. Come 2028 or later, I'm predicting the first woman of color to become president will be a Republican. And that could very well be someone like this woman here, Tulsi Gabbard, a Democrat that was establishment, and they pushed her out of the Democratic Party, just like they did RFK Jr. They sent her straight to MAGA. And if that happens, well, the left and the media are absolutely going to hate it if she becomes the first woman of color to be president. They'll be all against it then. Again, what many people don't understand, the first black people who were elected to Congress and stuff were Republicans, by the way.
No,
Did she serve?
Yes. Yeah, she served in our military. Honorably.
Yeah.
Just like JD Vance did.
That's sexist. And
That's a lot of flags.
Yeah. And she is basically in the Avengers, as it were, in MAGA right now. She's one of the top dogs. With right there with Trump. And the Democrats, again, have nobody to blame but themselves for kicking her out. And she was popular amongst Democrat voters.
One thing I loved about Trump, one of the things he mentioned is he talked about that his campaign is a campaign of second chances. You know, and we see this with her, you know, and RFK and even Elon. Like, a lot of people who wanted a second chance because they realized, hey, we might be wrong on some things.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, and it's okay to be wrong on some things, but just own up to it when you are. Like Donald Trump literally said on the Joe Rogan podcast, yeah, my first term, I hired a lot of people that were not right for the job, and because I didn't know any better. Now I do. He owned up to it. When's the last time you heard a politician say they were wrong about anything? So
Trump was weeding out the rhinos then too. He knew what he was doing.
He had to learn who he can trust and who he can't trust when it comes to real government.
I know a politician that was wrong about things.
Who's that?
Kamala Harris, when she said she was going to win all 3 swing states.
7, but yes. Sure. But apparently, again, the media either is sexism or misogyny, racism or whatever, or it's misinformation. That could also be the culprit. Here's Stephanie Rule from MSNBC, otherwise known as mainstream news bullcrap, doubling down on stupid, explaining how Elon Musk is now a propagandist.
We have now let misinformation become the accepted information. It has washed over us. Elon Musk, he buys Twitter, and then he uses it almost exclusively to be a propaganda machine, and we've accepted it. We've accepted a narrative that despite an actually great economic recovery, the vibes don't feel good. So we want to reject it and get something else. And the person we are now betting on to change all of it is Donald Trump.
Yeah, well, I mean, he can get the job done. Sorry. You may think he's a failure, but he's not.
Does misinformation mean free speech?
Pretty much.
Yeah. According to them.
Yep.
The media think that misinformation online from political shows like this one you're watching right now are lies or conspiracy theory. But in reality, they're just mad that the people are the real news now. Thanks to people like Elon Musk. They're just mad that the majority of the American people don't buy their BS anymore and they can't control it. A day after Donald Trump was reelected, the media was already back to calling him Hitler and then having the nerve to be upset when Donald Trump attacks the press. Instead, they want to regulate the news and
Mm-hmm.
social media. Here's once again, lovely Joy Behar on The View, basically calling to regulate social media.
Can we not let Fox News off the hook, please?
I don't understand.
And Newsmax and all the fake news that's been going out there. You know, one of the things that we need to do, and it's not to abolish the Department of Education. As a former teacher, believe me, he's talking about doing that.
Yes.
Which explains a lot, being she was one of the former teachers you were talking about.
You know, kids I brought this up before, I'm going to bring it up again. In Finland, kids in nursery school are learning to discern between fake news and real news.
Yeah.
They should be teaching that in this country.
Yeah.
Teach children tolerance, teach them to think critically.
Well, it would help if we could regulate social media, because one of the biggest offenders is DC and Congress have not been able to do one thing in regard to the rogue corporations of social media.
So good luck with that, Joy Behar. Did you notice how the woman sitting next to her said, I'm sorry. Let's see here. Notice how. Oh, yeah. They said Kamala would have won if they could regulate social media.
Yep.
I hate to break it to you, but the American people just overwhelmingly showed you they know the difference between fake news and real news. By the way, sounds like Joy Behar was almost advocating for indoctrination camps for young children.
Hey,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I wonder what election was won because they started controlling social media. That was Biden's campaign.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Imagine
that's the narrative they want you to believe. But these indoctrination camps that she's basically advocating for kids to learn what news to believe and what not is the ones that they want you to believe. Either believe
from the end. Why is she still in the country?
Yeah, I don't know. She's just one of those.
She needs to get the hell out of here.
But they're basically advocating for either believe what we tell you or else. By the way, Joy Behar, critical thinking you're talking about, also entails not believing everything you hear, Joy, and listening to all sides, which is what X provides. I mean, this is not hard to believe, guys. It's not hard to deal with here. Yeah, that's what X provides, though. A place where all sides can be heard, not just the side you agree with. And if one side says something stupid, then it's up to the other side to call them out on it. And the best ideas are, and the logical ones are the ones that win out. That's called free speech.
What in the world? What? That's great. I like the bazooka.
Bazooka.
Surprise, a-hole.
And I hate to break it to these Democrats on the left and The View. Very quickly, we are going to go back to a free speech country. Citizen journalism is now the news, and they can't stand it. It hurts their feelings. Well, I hate to tell you, tough it up, Buttercup.
It hurts their pockets.
Oh, yeah. Hurts their bottom dollar, everything. And it's just sad.
And they're not controlled. I mean, it's just like Tom McDonald. And he's been singing about this shit forever. He's not controlled by a label. These citizen journalists aren't George Soros controlled.
But you got to think about it. That's the way of it all. Think about there was a time where everybody read papers. That's how you found out the news. Before then, it was word of mouth. Eventually, we got electricity, TVs. Now you start making. Now you got people sitting in front of them. And for the longest, that was the status quo. But then the internet showed up, and that slowly became a place where people was finding their news from all over, different opinions from all over.
Yeah,
other researchers that contradicted other researchers. Eventually, just like with VHSs, DVDs, to now everything streaming, shit fades away, and legacy news is going to fade away.
And I can't wait for the day it does. I mean, we're all
But
going
that's
to be
what
better off.
they're fighting against.
Yeah, and Trump is already talking about how he's going to stop, them from allowing them to just spread these lies, and that's good.
Is that
actual lies, not. Huh?
Is that a javelin he's shooting?
Oh, I don't know. It's something out of a rocket launcher. But anyway, last but not least, until all these people apologize and stop lying, which is what they're doing, make no mistake, there can be no unity. Despite their calls for unity during this time, like we usually get after an election, the Democrats and the media have no intention of admitting they were wrong. If they are not held to account, they'll just keep doing it. The American people overwhelmingly just told Democrats that they're on the wrong side of history. But today, they're still spouting lies and misinformation. In fact, shows like The View have been doubling down on it, and it's not going to change. Do not get me let's see. Sorry, I wrote that wrong. Do not get me wrong is what I meant to say. We would all love unity. However, light cannot unite with the darkness. It just can't happen. So yeah, right now, this is the only unity I'm ready for right now. If Trump simply can't, if Trump simply lets everything go, I would think he's not very smart. Like when we work with Democrats and just let everything go. He did that the first time by not going after Hillary Clinton in the interest of unity. But how'd that work out for him? After what they've done to him the last 4 years, he better hold them accountable this time. And it sounds like he's going to. Remember, if Donald Trump had lost the election, Trump would be spending the rest of his life in prison, and this Biden regime would have tried to do everything in their power to put Elon Musk in the prison cell next to him.
Yeah.
So Trump just can't let this slide. I'm sorry. That's not the way this is going to work. Do not make peace with evil. The Democrats are putting their best foot forward and calling for unity right now because they have no choice. Because of the popular vote and the fact that Democrats have boxed themselves into a corner with their preaching about January 6th over the past 4 years. If they were to challenge the election this time, they wouldn't have a leg to stand on because they'd look like hypocrites. Make no mistake, it's not because they've suddenly had a change of heart in a few days' time after the election. And don't act like the Democrats haven't denied elections since 2000. I'm sorry, guys like Bill Maher, you'll probably take this up as an opportunity to say Democrats did the right thing and conceded. But he'll fail to mention that what I just told you is true, and that's why they won't be able to do it this time. But Bill Maher will never confess to this being the reality because he's too arrogant of it. Same goes for the fact that they tried to shove Kamala Harris in despite bypassing the primary process, denying fundamental process that he was so upset that Trump didn't adhere to, despite there being no law that states you must concede, only that you leave, which Trump did do. So again, it's just the hypocrisy of the whole thing. So yeah. But last but not least, let's talk about Biden and Harris's concession speeches here. Here's our friend Andrew from the Don't Walk Run Productions to explain it.
This is Joe Biden, the President of the United States. 2 days after the election, flanked by cabinet members and White House staffers, Biden gave remarks in the Rose Garden to concede the Democrats' defeat to the next President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
We're the people. The people vote and choose their own leaders, and they do it peacefully. And we're in a democracy. The will of the people always prevails. Yesterday, I spoke with President-elect Trump to congratulate him on his victory.
Wait, Joe Biden congratulated Trump like Donald Trump?
And I assured him that I'd direct my entire administration to work with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition. That's what the American people deserve.
But I was told that democracy was on the ballot and that Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans were a clear and present danger to our democracy.
Something I hope we can do, no matter who you voted for, is see each other not as adversaries, but as fellow Americans. Bring down the temperature.
Hang on. The same Joe Biden that claimed Donald Trump was an existential threat to America, called him a racist, called his supporters garbage, declared that Trump was a fascist and that we should lock him up because if he got a second term, Trump would be a dictator, now claims that we need to lower the temperature.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Brandon.
The American experiment endures. We're going to be okay.
But again, we were told for the better part of a decade that Donald Trump isn't just a threat to democracy, but is the biggest threat to democracy.
Yeah.
Look, folks, you all know it. Setbacks are unavoidable, but giving up is unforgivable.
So we went from Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic to there's going to be some setbacks. These things happen. In other words, it was all bullshit.
I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition.
Yeah, he doesn't need your help, Kamala. And by offering congratulations, it's a far cry from just 2 weeks prior.
Donald Trump is unstable, increasingly unstable, and unfit to serve. Unfit and dangerous. He has contempt for the Constitution of the United States. He should never again serve as president of the United States. Understand what could happen if Donald Trump were back in the White House. Said he would be a dictator on day one. He will not obey an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. He himself has said he would terminate the Constitution of the United States.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
No, you won't.
Yes, I do.
Again, you can't pivot from Trump is a fascist who's going to terminate the Constitution and be a dictator to congratulations on your victory without raising some eyebrows. Yes, it's all disingenuous to say the least, but then again, so is Kamala Harris. Anyway, the bullshit continued to flow.
This is hilarious.
during the White House press briefing after the election. Here's self-proclaimed historical figure and future MSNBC contributor, Karine Jean-Pierre.
This is how elections are. This is. It ebbs and flows. You win, you lose. And this is where we are today.
So within a matter of days, we went from, if you elect the bad orange man, Project 2025 is going to get you, to you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
Recently in the summer that the former President Trump's vision for America is dark and that it's not who we are. But given the results on Tuesday night, does he think he misjudged where the country is right now?
Look, the country spoke. They did. Majority of the country spoke. They were very clear.
She said it like we know.
To see the direction of this country. And we're going to respect that. We're going to respect that.
So according to Karine Jean-Pierre, the majority of the country wanted Trump's dark vision. Got it.
The president repeatedly referred to Donald Trump as a threat to democracy over and over again. And this morning, though, he said we're all going to be okay. So was that just political rhetoric?
It was.
If you know the president, you know that him saying we're all going to be okay, he's an optimist, right? He believes when you get knocked down, you get back up. We lost, but we're not defeated, right? We suffered a defeat, but we're not defeated.
So for 4 years, Joe Biden was warning that MAGA Republicans were going to destroy democracy because he's an optimist.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me. What's your problem?
He wants to make sure that he shows optimism, right? He wants to make sure that people understand that there is a tomorrow, right? There is going to be another opportunity to have your voices heard.
Another opportunity to vote? That's not what Oprah Winfrey said.
Yeah.
It is entirely possible that we will not have the opportunity to ever cast a ballot again.
Does the president still stand by his description of the former president, now president-elect, as an existential threat to democracy?
I don't have anything else to share beyond what I said. The president believes, when he said it at the time, he believes he had an obligation to be honest with the American people.
It sounds like his assessment hasn't changed.
He was being honest. He has an obligation, and he was being honest with the American people.
In other words, President Biden was being honest, but now not so much.
We're going to be okay.
This administration message to millions of Americans that they're going to wake up the day after the election if Trump won and have their rights stripped away, that democracy would crumble, and the president said today we're going to be okay. So how do you square that?
I can square that. I'm going to square that in a way that hopefully makes sense, because I've been answering this question multiple times. There was an election 2 nights ago. There was. And we respect the election process. We do. And so
Now you
the
do.
job of the president
Maybe.
is to make sure we respect that. The job of the president is to make sure that we have a peaceful transfer of power. If you respect what the American people decided, that's what you do. Why? Because the president wants to lead by example. It's not complicated. It really isn't. It's not complicated.
You can't say that Orange Hitler is going to destroy American democracy and then turn on a dime and brag that we're going to lead by example and peacefully hand over the keys.
Yeah.
And Fox News' Jackie Heinrich called her out on it.
Good for her.
That's important.
Is the message to people who are fearful based on what the messaging was about the state.
Well, now you're just twisting everything around, and that's really unfair. No, it is. No, Jack,
she didn't say anything.
I do not appreciate having my words twisted. That is, I have been very clear, very, very, very clear about what the president wants to do and the vice president. We want to make sure that we deliver for the American people. They deserve a peaceful transfer of power, and that's what.
What a crap show.
But that's what they're going to do. They're trying to say we're the bigger. You get it at the end. We're the bigger man on the way out the door.
I think the way I understood that was she told us what she was be with the bigger assholes.
They're going to try, but simultaneously make it seem like they were trying to do this whole peaceful transfer of power. But again, the MAGA Republic is the ones who stormed the Capitol for a second fucking time.
Well, yeah, they better not try to pull that one. But
that's exactly what's going to happen.
Oh, God. Lord help us. Kamala's concession speech was the day after the election because, according to reports, they said that she was so sure she'd win that she actually didn't have a concession speech prepared and written up. So they had to scramble to actually get one written. So she had something to say. All her fucking
speeches have been that way.
Yeah, so that's probably why that works out.
Actually, the reason I can explain this very simply.
Yeah.
Very quickly. She lost. And
she didn't think she was going to.
Astute observation from Matt right there.
Literally, I bet you anybody she genuinely thought she was going to win.
They thought they had it in the bag. This whole time.
So hardly that America was going to be as ugly as she thought it was.
Yeah.
And that did not happen.
No, it did not happen at all. And
I'm going to go to bed. Good night, guys.
Well, okay. Well, we only got like 10 minutes left tops. But anyway, this man here, Joe Biden, was the happiest dude after the election outside of conservatives and Republicans. I'll tell you right now,
brother.
He was the happiest man during this speech. If you watched it in full, you know exactly what I'm talking about. His delivery, by the way, he appeared sharper cognitively than we'd seen him in 4 years.
It's like he decided, all right, I ain't taking these fucking pills no more.
Yeah, it actually came off as the biggest "I told you so" in human history. I genuinely think he believes he would have beaten Donald Trump again, but he would have lost too. But to his credit, he's going to be telling all the Democrats, see, if you'd have let me do it, I'd have won. He's going to run with that to the day he dies. I promise you, as he probably should. Not to mention Jill Biden, his wife, actually went and voted and stuff, and apparently she was wearing red while she voted. So you mean to tell me there was not some messaging there? I mean, she knows what she's going to be. She's going to be seen by cameras all over the place. So, yeah. Hopefully this will be the last time we hear from either Kamala or Joe Biden. But as much as we'd love to believe both of those people, it's hard to do that when your old pal Jamie Raskin is calling for something different and talking about how the Senate and the House of Representatives are going to have to step in and disqualify Donald Trump. We showed video of that last week and stuff too here. So I'll tell you right now, after all this stuff about insurrection of January 6th and all this preaching Democrats did, if they tried to prevent Donald Trump from being the president, despite the fact they say they're not going to do that, if they actually do, there will be a civil war. Because that's just hypocrisy on the largest level. So until Donald Trump is sworn in, I won't believe any Democrat who says they won't put up a fight here. And even then, they'd love to obstruct him. But this time, hopefully, they won't be able to do that with the Republican trifecta of the Senate and the House and the presidency. Unlike in his first term, Trump deserves a few years without obstruction and lies like Russia collusion just to see if he can change some things for the better. I mean, he absolutely deserves that. So, yeah, also had a thing here with AOC, but we'll skip it. Apparently, she's calling for protests, and so is Eric Swalwell.
Again, it'll make it seem like these are all MAGA supporters, when in reality, there'll be all these liberal nut jobs.
I don't think they can make it look like MAGA this time. Like,
there'd have to be a lot
they
of
can make their paid actors show up, maybe like they did in the Chicago the other night. I don't think they have that much control over large groups anymore. Or the backing of the police. Like, these cops aren't going to keep letting this shit happen.
I'll be interested to see if anything gets violent. Obviously, I think the thing in Chicago and I think Philadelphia and New York had some protests. It didn't appear to get out of hand. They looked relatively peaceful, like they weren't breaking windows and shit. But I'll be interested to see how this weekend goes, and especially Inauguration Day. That's when all hell broke loose last time.
There's already started to prep the city. There's places that are boarded off and everything.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it's going to get that way. So to end the show, I just want to get your guys' thoughts real quick. And then in the next 2 years, what is it you want to see Donald Trump do the most? Obviously, we want everything to get cheaper. But anything in particular off the top of your head?
That whole Wonder World he talked about earlier.
What, the Iowa thing?
The whole thing, dude. The whole year-long celebration.
Oh, okay.
The whole fucking thing. The garden, the statue garden. Like, because I feel like as a country, that is something that is designed inherently to unite people. It's supposed to bring people from every walk of life to a central point to make those connections.
Yeah, and I believe Donald Trump does want unity, but with the American people, sure. But with some of these establishment government types, no, you can't do that. You'd be a fool.
But as
and he's not afraid to fire somebody that's not aligning with him, and he's not afraid to tell these celebrities you're wrong. So I think in the next 2 years, we're going to see some of the greatest things we've ever dreamed of.
I hope technology, along with him working with Elon and shit, I hope it takes off. I feel like we should be at this point in time in another stage of technology.
Yeah. I mean, anything in particular, Aaron? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
If he can, kind of along the lines of with Brandon, if he can pull off like the country just coming together and just to be unified and just trying to grow as a country, I would like for a majority of the country to be able to look at the American flag and be proud of that flag. Like at work, we had this thing of like, we had the Pride Month and everybody got their rainbow flags and the rainbow flags fly high all over the freaking warehouse. And then whenever, I think it was the 9/11 thing come around, we had American flags, but we only had, I think there was like 10 flags that were flown. And it's like, this is your country, not the rainbow flag. The American flag represents everybody in America, not just one side. And we have to remember that and get under that flag to be unified.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. For me personally, obviously, the thing I want most is no income tax. I would love for that to be a thing. That'll help so many people. Term limits for people in the Senate and the House of Representatives. Start of mass deportations of illegals. That is going to be a big thing. And it's we'll say this too. He's already starting to get pushback from Democrat governors. Gavin Newsom in California and J.D. Pritzker of Illinois have already pledged to fight Trump on this, stating they'll fight for their citizens, except they're not actually citizens, morons. So we'll see how that goes.
Gavin wants to Trump-proof California. And you know what? Let him. Don't take it on any of Trump's policies. Let San Francisco just fucking rot.
And it will too.
Succeed
It's
for
our
our country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like Escape from LA if you ever see that.
Doesn't matter anyway. One good earthquake and it's falling off into the fucking bay anyhow.
Pretty much.
But yeah, if they want to keep California, let them succeed from the country. Like they can just be their own government right there, and they can enforce all their policies and watch their government burn under them.
Yeah. So my final thought here: this is a great time in America. But we have to hold Donald Trump accountable too.
Yeah.
He must deliver on his promises. If Trump goes in there and just plays ball with Democrats and doesn't make drastic changes, which I think he will, and he's already starting to, as we talked about here. But if he doesn't, I will be the first in line to criticize him. Because if he doesn't bring sweeping permanent change, in my opinion, in 4 years, it'll just be undone again. If Trump doesn't do it, no one is going to. This time, it just feels different. As I said, we're going to bookmark this show with this line. This time, it just feels different. This is not your ordinary presidency. The true fight.
He did say he owes us free and secure elections. Yeah. So I do hope he figures out how to make every election after this one safe and secure.
Everybody in the Senate and the House, if he has the trifecta after all this voting is finally finalized, They have to get on board with him.
Yep.
You cannot be fighting amongst yourselves right now.
Mhm.
This is the time to do it, because you may only have 2 years of that in force. So you've got to get on the ball and get on the ball now. So yeah. Any other thoughts tonight, or are we about through the evening? Oh, I think we lost Matt. Anyway, so
We lost Matt a while ago.
it's all right.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, if that's the case, I guess we'll close the show. We are thrilled for our new president here. We're glad he's back, and I'm going to say right now, we need to pray for him as well, because there's a lot of time between now and the inauguration, as well as we need to pray for him during the 4 years that somebody doesn't try to harm him or any of his family or anything like that. It's ridiculous. It's got to stop.
Yeah.
You guys lived through 4 years of him before. You can live through him again. The world's not going to come crashing down. You're not losing your rights, or you're not going to be killed because he's racist or some stupid crap like that. Just take a breath.
Y'all gotta stop that shit.
You gotta quit.
The rights they're losing is to kill babies and to mutilate their children's bodies.
Oh God, the horror! You know, how do we ever live without doing that before?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So I'm going to end the show by saying this, and those of you who know what I'm talking about and heard the opening during the stream starting screen, take care, God bless, and President Trump, Nessun Dorma. Have a good night, everybody. Take care. Wrong one. That one.